The sights and sounds of College Football 96 continue from Pasadena, California. ABC Sports College Football presents USC and UCLA. The 66th renewal dates back to 1929. A look at the Rose Bowl. And earlier today, the UCLA Bruins heading into this territorial battle for enthronement and enshrinement. Simply put, folks, it's time to get it on for city supremacy. The names and players in this series reads like a who's who of college football through the years. A series characterized by high-risk plays and high rewards. Of late, the Bruins have dominated the men of Troy. They've won 5 consecutive games against USC, and the coach is under fire. John Robinson promised 4 years ago when he returned to USC, he said, quote, "We will beat UCLA." So far, it has been an empty promise. A look at the Bruins. And the Trojans also taking the field. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Jones. It has come down to a 2-game season for USC. Their coach is embattled. And yesterday in the Los Angeles Times, the USC president, Stephen B. Sample, said, quote, "I simply very strongly support that man, the head coach, John Robinson." John Spagnuolo, it has been a very tumultuous year and a tumultuous week for USC.
That's true. You know, John Robinson has taken his share of heat this year, but the players have to step up and accept some of the blame for this season as well. And that's exactly what came out of a players-only meeting. It was somewhat contentious last week. Players had some finger pointing and everything else, but they came out and said they've let their head coach down by not playing with enough fire and emotion this year. And they want to rectify that here today against UCLA so that the seniors on this team can finally taste victory against UCLA. Now, Bobby Toledo was an assistant coach on both sidelines for both schools in this game. He's never lost, and he certainly doesn't want to lose today as a head coach. He held closed practices all week, and he wanted to keep his team focused. And even though this team is out of a bowl berth or anything like that, you would think they're playing in the Rose Bowl today. They're so pumped up instead of at the Rose Bowl.
The gridiron is rife with emotion. It's a powder keg ready to blow. We light the fuse in just a minute. A look high above the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, nestled among the San Gabriel Mountains. Downstairs to Dean Blevins. Dean, I thought I saw David Copperfield down there on the sideline somewhere.
Well, Mark, trick plays, that's always been a trademark of this great series. And as you watch this game, be alert, especially early when UCLA has the football. They have run at least one trick play in every game so far this season, and they have a couple of doozies in store today. They've got a swinging gate, and they've got some reverse passes. Bob Toledo calls himself the trick play coach, and you can tell when we get excited and talking to him, he gets really excited telling us about his trick plays. Now, the Trojans know his propensity for trickery. They know him very well. They dedicated significant practice time this week to not being fooled by Toledo and his trickery.
John Robinson also with some tricks up his sleeve, and his offensive coordinator, Mike Riley, getting this team prepared. USC won the toss, electing to receive. Back deep, Chris Miller and R.J. Soward. In this, the 66th edition of UCLA against USC. We are underway at the Rose Bowl. Soward watches it bounce 5 yards deep in the end zone. The kick coming from Greg Andrzejczyk. The Trojans will start on their own 20-yard line, and they will be directed by number 10, Brad Otten, the 6'6", 235-pound senior. Been a frustrating year for him, John.
It certainly has. He hasn't enjoyed much protection. One thing that Brad Otten has showed me is he has a lot of courage. He gets hit just about every time he throws the football this year.
The backs working out of the eye on 1st down and 10. Washington and Sermons. The give is to the up back. That's Rodney Sermons, number 5. The 6', 200-pound junior. A look now at the Chili's backs and receivers for the USC Trojans. Washington, one of the team's top runners. Rodney Sermons, the other half of that combination here at tailback U. Soward, a talented freshman. A look at that offensive line.
And I like that right guard, Travis Claridge. He's just a true freshman. He's playing very well, and boy, does he have a mean streak in him.
2nd down and 6. A first down for the Trojans. DeLon Washington, number 24, picking up 10 yards, tackled by Anthony Cobb. A look at that defensive front for UCLA, a little bit on the light side.
Yeah, they actually had to go a 4-down lineman alignment. They have so many people bummed up, just 2 linebackers and then 5 defensive backs. It's an odd defense. It's a defense that they have not used this year. So we're going to see if they have a lot of trouble against the run.
First down and 10 for USC. Flag down on the play. Washington brought down near the 40-yard line, picks up close to 7 yards. Tackle made by Sean Williams, but this might be a holding call against USC, and it is. It'll come back. Our officials today, the man there in the white hat, his name is Pat Flood. We have an all Pac-10 crew this afternoon.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Well, it's pretty clear that the Trojan strategy is to be physical on offense. They know UCLA is a little bit beat up defensively, and they want to get after them. Something they have not done well this year, though, is running the football. And this, I think, would really help their offense if they could convert first downs and move the chains running the football.
They've got a long first down here. First and 22, John. DeLon Washington brought down at the 22-yard line by Brian Wilmer, number 53. He is UCLA's leading tackler on defense. The 6'2 junior, 242 pounds. Really came into his own just a year ago.
Yeah, you can see USC. I mean, look at this, 117 yards rushing. I mean, this is tailback U. They do not run the football that effectively. UCLA, on the other hand, has played pretty well against the run this year. Michigan and Washington are 2 teams who really ran the football down their throat, though. And USC wants to take a page from that today.
This time they come out with a run formation, but pass. Otten brought down right near the line of scrimmage by number 15, Anthony Cobbs. Cobbs, the 6'1", 186-pound senior, playing his last game at UCLA against USC.
Well, once you get into that second long situation, this is exactly what UCLA wants. There's Cobbs at the bottom of the screen, number 15. Otten's trying to go to a 2-receiver side. They're trying to max up against the blitz. It was decent protection initially, but as he moved, Cobbs moved in and made the tackle.
Cobbs, one of those seniors for UCLA that got up and spoke very eloquently and very pointedly last night at a team meeting. Third down and 21. The receiver screen, R.J. Soward has quicks.
There he goes.
He can fly. Soward finally hauled down at the 13.
R.J. Soward, a true freshman, got the start today over Chris Miller. Last week he broke a 33-yarder against Arizona. He's going to come inside on the screen and watch his running ability. This is what makes him so exciting. What a future he has ahead of him here at USC. Same type of run that he had last week against Arizona. He runs so well across the field against the grain. And finally, the speed of Kusante Abdul-Salam brings him down.
Of late, John, USC has been more receiver U than tailback U. Soward, one of the talented receivers. Washington on the carry this time. Over the left side of the offensive line, running over Rome Douglas. Brought down by Weldon Ford that time. DeLon Washington, number 24. The 5'11 junior from Dallas, Texas. Missed 3 games earlier this season because of a suspension.
You know, what's great about Soward, though, is that this is a receiver core that's dropped a lot of balls this year, has not played all that consistently. Then you get a kid like him in the game, and he just ignites everybody else, and everybody else will play better as a result of it.
Soward lighting up this crowd and his team with that 65-yard catch and run. 2nd and 8, and it's dropped. No doubt a catchable ball. Chris Miller, number 2, dropping that pass. That's been a problem for him this year. Well, I wonder if they have the tuba and the trombone player ready for that Stanford-Cal game.
The big game, Stanford-Cal. Stanford's playing well. They've won the last 3 in a row. And, of course, Arizona State, Arizona, and, Ohio State's lost today. And you don't think the Arizona State people have seen that game and thought about it, and they have not done well up there in Tucson.
Yeah, Arizona State certainly put on notice. 3rd down and 8, 2 tight end set. Backside pressure, Otten. Sermons, he's Mr. 3rd down for them. He's been Mr. 3rd down, Mr. Clutch receiver all year.
Yeah,
and a late flag on the play.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what that came out awfully late.
Abdul Salam was in on the coverage. But Rodney Sermons is the team's leading receiver. He showed you why there. Here's the call.
Ineligible receiver downfield is going to be the call. You're right about Rodney Sermons, though. He went to John Robinson and was complaining about his playing time, and John said, you know what, Rodney, I need to use you in specific roles on this team. If you accept that, you'll have a good year, and you may have a future in the NFL as a nickelback. And that's what he does for this team so well. Let's see if we see anybody heading downfield. Right here, number 74, Ken Bowen, might be a little past the line of scrimmage, and if that was the call, that's kind of a tough call there.
3rd and 14. Brad Otten says, I don't like what I see. I'm going to step back, and I want to talk to my brain trust. Just underway at the Rose Bowl. The Battle of LA, 0s on the board. Back at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, Mark Jones along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins on the sidelines. 3rd down and 13. A very methodical, workmanlike drive. And a big play from R.J. Soward puts the ball on the 16-yard line. Lavelle Woods, there's the lone back. The blitz, they pick up the blitz, screen pass, and they'll be stopped short of the 1st down at the 10-yard line. They went to Woods, and UCLA defensively coming up with a big 3rd down stop, John.
Initially it looked like a big play because the Bruins got caught in the blitz. You want to have a screen called against that kind of play, Mark. But that defense came over quickly and rallied and got to the football to prevent any damage.
Wilmer and Cobbs making the tackle. Now in to attempt a field goal from 27 yards out is Adam Abrams. He is 9 of 16 on the year. Earlier this season, had a lot of problems kicking the ball low. They get the snap down, and he boots a line drive. It wasn't pretty, but it counts.
That's like one of those dribble shots that go on the green.
A good job out of the hold. Jim Wren got it down. And USC leads by a field goal. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Ford Motor Company, where quality is job one. Kellogg's with good taste, nutrition, and value. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's. Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. And Chili's has so many new grilled items, you'll see why we say Chili's grills like no place else. UCLA coming into the game with a record of 4-6, 3-4 in conference play. USC coming in 5 up and 5 down, also 3-4 in Pac-10 play. USC leading 3-0. And Jim McElroy takes a knee in the end zone. The Bruins and the Trojans, first time in 38 years, both teams enter this game without winning records. Oh, how times have changed. Cade McNown, the starting quarterback for UCLA. His touchdown to interception ratio has improved since a couple of weeks ago when we saw him, John.
But he's still last in the Pac-10 in passing. He has moments of brilliance, but he also has moments where he makes key mistakes. Against Arizona last week, he got them into the football game when he threw an interception for a touchdown in the 3rd quarter.
1st down and 10 from the 20. Skip Hicks. You'll hear that name a lot this afternoon. Number 42, tackled by Chris Claiborne. Look at our Chili's backs and receivers for the Bruins. Skip Hicks, number 42, a 6-foot junior, 222 pounds. Keeps on improving, running behind that offensive line.
And it's good to see Chad Overhauser in there. He has bad sideburns. He also has a bad ankle. They weren't sure if he'd play or how long he'd last today.
I don't know.
Check those burns out.
I'm kind of partial to mutton chops. 2nd down and 8 for McNown. His first pass attempt is broken up at the 25-yard line. The intended receiver was number 96, Jamal Clark. Number 55, Chris Claiborne, broke it up. Sammy Knight, number 9, one of the players to watch on defense.
Yeah, he sure is. He's the leading tackler on this team, third in the Pac-10, and the guy they want to avoid throwing the football is to Dalen McCutcheon's area. He does not see as many balls as he did last year. He's got great leaping ability, and after he makes the interception, look out. He can really run.
His dad, Lawrence, a former player in the NFL, now an NFL scout. 3rd down and 8. They empty out the backfield with 5 receivers. McNown can't pull the trigger. Sacked back at the 10-yard line. Claiborne was there. Kennelly was there. A host of Trojan tracklers.
Well, Kennelly's one of those seniors that has yet to beat UCLA in his entire career. He's going to come from the right side of your screen, number 92. There he is, coming right up the middle, relentless. He's playing like a guy who has never won this game, got through that block, and got to Cade McNown before he could release the football.
Punting out of his own end zone now is Chris Saylor, number 2 for UCLA. Chad Morton standing on his own 45. They get a shot to return this one.
He's got speed.
Morton trying to get to the outside, and he's brought down at the 44-yard line. A 41-yard punt, 8 yards on the return.
Boy, there's the fastest player on this football field, Chad Morton.
One more look at that sack and a loss of 11 yards.
And this is the 24th sack given up this year by UCLA, but Matt Kennelly just came through, kept fighting and kept fighting. And if this defensive line can get going for the Trojans today, look out. They have raised their intensity, and they need to raise it that much higher today to win this game.
1st and 10, good field position for USC. DeLon Washington over the 40, falls down at the 39-yard line. Picks up about 4 on the play. Danwan McGee, number 57, making the tackle. Washington out of Dallas, Texas. Those of you who have followed USC football already know that he promised his late brother Benny he'd go to USC, and verbally committed to USC 15 minutes after learning of his brother's death, victim of a drive-by shooting. 8:24 to play now in the 1st period. It's Washington again. Said that he's dedicated every game that he plays to his late brother Benny. A tackle made by Kershke on that play. Well, above high, one of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California, has been providing these beautiful aerial pictures. 1996 marks the 71st consecutive year the Goodyear blimp has flown over a major sporting event. Good seats, huh, John?
I've seen the house up there. I keep seeing that shadow come across the field. Scaring me.
Sean Walters now in the ball game, and he's stacked up, maybe lost a yard. Number 98 again, Travis Kershke, one of the seniors on defense playing for UCLA that has never lost to USC. From Yorba Linda, California, home of the Nixon Library, in fact. Sean Williams also in on the tackle.
Bob Toledo pleased with the way his team's played. It looks like USC is going to go for it on 4th down. Let's see if they try and draw the Bruins offside with the hard count.
4th down and 3 to go. And one of the big definitive moments in the early going, complete for the 1st down, Rodney Sermons. You had to think, John, they were going to go to their clutch receiver at that point. 15-yard pickup and a 1st down.
Well, the one thing you always get from this situation is you're going to get man-to-man coverage in a short yardage situation. You're going to see the release of the tight end on the left side, John Allred, and all sort of traffic inside, and there's no way the linebacker can get out there in coverage on Sermon.
Sermons with a couple of receptions already today. Otten, 3 of 4 today. Washington across the 20, brought down at the 19-yard line.
Ooh, he almost had his back broken there.
Kershke again in on the tackle.
Kershke's one of those players that benefited from the switch to the 34 this year, even though they started in a 4-man front today. And he's by far the most consistent defensive lineman on this football team.
Look at Big Ten action today, John. The other half of the Rose Bowl equation.
Oh boy.
Boy, what does John Cooper have to do to beat Michigan?
If I knew that, I'd be the head coach of Ohio State right now, Mark.
Rhetorically speaking, Otten on the slant, incomplete. Intended for number 2, Miller. Abdul Salam breaking up the play on the coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 8 to go. Number 10 may look a little bit like Andy Colbert. And just in case you were wondering, well, Andy Colbert has converted to the Muslim faith and is now Kusanti Abdul Salam.
The Muslim even gave him that name. You saw that happen with Sharman Shah, who's now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
3rd down and 8. Otten with time. Has a man wide open. Touchdown Trojans. Soward.
You know, you talk about all the seniors that have to step up in this football game. They want to win this game for the seniors who have yet to beat UCLA. Who steps up and makes the plays? A freshman. Isn't that something? R.J. Soward is just going to get better and better. Broken coverage downfield, and he escapes to the side of the football where the quarterback's throwing. Does a great job. He is this offense so far today for the Trojans.
Had a 65-yard catch and run play earlier to set up the field goal. And now it is 9-0 for USC. Adam Abrams with the extra point. They get the snap down, and the extra point is good. Culminating a 7-play, 43-yard drive using 2:46 on the clock. Holler if you hear me in Compton. We'll be right back.
An update from Maryland, Florida State. The Seminoles actually fell down 7-0. But Thad Busby comes right back, hooks up with E.G. Green, 37 yards. It's now tied at 7 apiece. They have Florida next week here on ABC. In the Pac-10, Stanford leading Cal 10-0. As of yet, no band sightings. Back to you, Mark.
Got a couple tubas and trombones hidden.
Hey, Stanford could get their 6th win there. If they get their 6th win, they qualify for a bowl.
David Bell kicking off. This is Derek Ayers. Ayers out over the 30 to the 38-yard line. Ayers with a nice return of 33 yards.
Well, there's an old saying in football, the eye in the sky don't lie. And here's R.J. Soward. He's going to work here. Watch this backside safety. He bites on the move across the middle. And that's what allows Soward to escape behind that safety. It's a 2-deep zone. Otten looks short first, then he looks long, and it's a 19-yard touchdown. USC has been very impressive so far in this game. Nice view, isn't it? Up there.
Love it.
It's like being a bird up there, isn't it?
UCLA trying to fly right now on offense. Trying to get on track. They run the ball over the 40 down to the 43-yard line. Matt Kennelly making the tackle that time on Skip Hicks, number 42. 5:45 remaining in the first quarter. USC vaulting out to a 10-0 lead early. 2nd down and 6. Single back set. 3 receivers on the play. Little play fake by McNown. Drills it incomplete to Farmer, whose forward progress will be marked on USC's side of the field. Let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins.
All right, Mark, our goal today down here is to make sure you don't miss anything from the field. We'll have stories for you, including one on SC receiver Mike Bastianelli, and our guys do know how to spell, by the way. A story about SC not having top-notch facilities. Also a follow-up to the you name it. The name changing is fairly common out here with the Bruins, and what is the future for the Bruins? A look into that crystal ball, Mark.
All right, Dean, and back at the 49-yard line, UCLA 1st down and 10. The draw play got back to the line of scrimmage. That Skip Hicks tackled by Chris Claiborne and number 88 George Perry.
Well, UCLA with a pretty balanced offense. They rush the football effectively, better than USC does. 220 yards passing a game. USC gives up a lot of yards on the rushing game. That's uncharacteristic for them over the years. They have a very good pass defense, though. They've only given up 9 touchdown passes this year.
And speaking of passing, UCLA trying to get back to those West Coast offense philosophies. Short percentage, high percentage passes. That one complete out of the backfield to Skip Hicks, who's tackled by number 9, Sammy Knight. Knight, a 6'1", 210-pound senior.
It's a big right tackle, Chad Overhauser. Now he's in zone protection. He's waiting for somebody. He's going to let me take a crack at somebody. Come on, where are you? They're all afraid of him, Chad. They're afraid of you.
They're running away from him. It is 3rd down and long. 13 to go for Cade McNown. They go empty on this one. 5 receivers out on the play. And somebody jumped up front. The question is who?
Well, we'll see if offensively it's Sean Gully. He's starting at right guard for Andy Myers, who broke his leg.
Before the snap, offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
There we go. Now see, if you can't find a player to line up, you can line up against the guy in the striped shirt.
He can't hit him, though.
I bet he's thought about hitting him now when they throw that flag on him for holding.
That would not be good.
So it's not Sean Gully's mistake. Indeed, it was the defense for the Trojans jumping off sides.
They get 5 yards out of it. It's now 3rd down and 8 for UCLA. McNown on the flanker screen, incomplete for Jim McElroy, who dropped it. McElroy cannot afford to waste any opportunities. He is 4-0.
Wow, look at this total yards today, 131 yards. UCLA -5 rushing. That's part of the sacks they've had, and only 5 yards passing. McElroy tried to run the same play that Soward ran. That was very successful, that little inside screen from the wide receiver.
And now into punt is Chris Saylor. He's got 20 punts inside the 20 this year. And we can make it 21.
I think it's safe to say that. Only 2 touchbacks all year. He's a very accurate punter at that part of the football field.
You like to see that, John. It may hurt his statistics sometimes, but it's good for the special teams unit. Well, Friday, while you're warming up those turkey leftovers, you can tune us in at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Our crew will be down in Austin, Texas A&M against Texas. Could be for the South Division title, and then Colorado against Nebraska for the North Division title. The next Saturday, Florida against Florida State, #1 against #3, and then later that night, Notre Dame at USC. And John Robinson has yet to defeat Notre Dame. It'll be Lou Holtz's last game as head coach.
And he never has lost against USC as head coach at Notre Dame.
Delon Washington that time running the ball. Gaining maybe a yard, tackled by Sean Williams, #32. USC leading 10-0 with 3 minutes to play now in the first quarter. A couple of big plays, if you just join us, by R.J. Sauer, the talented freshman wide receiver, at a 65-yard reception to set up a field goal, and also a touchdown catch. 2nd and 8, the backside of the eye, 2 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. They run it. That's Sean Walters, #31, the 6', 225-pound senior, who was suspended earlier this year while they investigated some reports about illegal dealings with an agent. Walters just now rounding into shape, working off some of that rust. Clock running with 2:12 to play in the first quarter. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Watch Brian Wilbur here, #53. See how he checks in? Then he's going to work his way out. It's a run blitz play. Does a nice job of recovering from his blitzing gap and getting back out to help out on the tackle.
3rd and 6. Otten has time. Wide open, R.J. Soward, and he's got real estate ahead of him. Soward brought down at the 47-yard line. #18 with a 30-yard pickup. Serwanga making the tackle.
Well, you know what's great about Soward? On this play, the cover guy falls down on him. Watch as he works inside here. He's going against Sean Williams. See, Williams falls down, the free safety, And that gives Otten all the room in the world to work to Soward. Finally, Williams gets up and recovers, but not after Soward makes a big gain. There's 32, just getting into the picture there at the end. Look at that. 3 receptions, 115 yards. What a day so far.
In the first quarter. With those kind of numbers, he should be wearing number 3. Walters puts it on the ground and picks it up. I'm not sure Mike Riley, the offensive coordinator, drew it up that way for number 31. Ryan Wilmer finally making the tackle on the play.
Yeah, you know, it seemed like he picked it up just as a Bruin player was about to take the football underneath his chest.
I was thinking, geez, there's a trick play we haven't seen before.
Well, if you want to feel adrenaline just shoot through your body, you put a football on the ground like that and start grabbing for it. See if where the problem came with Walters on the exchange. Right there, yeah, he just doesn't get the handoff. Now watch, yeah, right there. Look how he just gets that ball just away in time before the Bruin player gets to it. Larry Atkins tried to get it.
Otten picked off. Brad Otten picked off on the play by Abdul Salam.
Larry Parker working one-on-one with Abdul Salam. He never really pushes him downfield. Salam is a smart player, a senior. He spoke to the team last night about what this game meant to him. Did a very nice job in that meeting. I got to sit on that, where a lot of seniors spoke about their experience with this team and what this game meant today. But that's a situation where a corner knows the down and distance, is willing to take a chance, and the chance paid off.
Little play fake by McNown. They throw back the other way, and he has a wave of blockers. Breed, the tight end, brought down at the 35-yard line.
There's a little of that trickery that Dean Blevins was talking about. It's not quite like a double reverse option pass or any of that stuff, but Mike Grebe, who got hurt in the opener against Tennessee, is lined up on the left side. See number 88, he's faking a block down. He works across. This play works well because you have a left-handed quarterback. Grebe gets the ball, and here's where tight ends are exposed. Believe me, it's hard to run in the open field when you're tight end. Usually look for bodies to try and run over.
2nd down and 4. Stopped up is Hicks at the line of scrimmage. Let's go downstairs for more on Salam from Dean Blevins.
Well, you know, a few minutes ago, you guys were talking about the former Andy Colbert, number 10, now Kasante Abdul-Salam. With Miami Dolphin rookie running back Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was Sharman Shaw when he entered Westwood. But incidentally, basketball's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was reportedly not flattered at his name change. Now, he didn't mind when number 9, if you see Abdul-Jabbar McCullough's, her mother, or rather his mother, gave the safety his given name. She's a Laker fan, and Jabbar had no problem with that.
We play the name game when we return. The first quarter's over. Stay with us. Back at the Rose Bowl for the start of the second quarter. I'm Mark Jones along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins. The Battle of Los Angeles is 15 minutes old. 3rd down and 4 for the Bruins. They trail 10-0. McNown to pass. Had a man open. Grebe, his tight end, but he fired incomplete. 1 turnover so far in the game today. Moments ago, that turnover by USC, you see it near the bottom on their side of the ledger. An interception thrown by Brad Otten.
But total dominance by the Trojans so far. They lead in rushing yards, passing yards. Most of that is R.J. Soward, 162 total yards, and the turnover has not hurt them.
Chris Saylor now, John, into punt, standing at midfield. He's already put 1 inside the 20 today. He has 21 of those on the season. He angles for the coffin corner, and this one will also be inside the 20, make it 22 on the season. It'll be marked at the 12-yard line. So the Trojans now pinned deep in their own territory. A 22-yard punt. Like I was saying, John, it's not great for his punting statistically, but I'm sure that John Robinson doesn't mind.
Well, for his net average, it's good, though. I mean, when you punt it into the end zone, it comes out on the 20. That affects your net punting average. So the gross number's one thing, but you have to look beyond the numbers. And Saylor's one of the best at pinning that offense for the other team down.
John Robinson has yet to defeat UCLA.
Hey, UCLA better get to the football. They're on the wrong hash mark. There they are. Come on, guys.
Hello. The Trojans run it out over the 15. That's Lavelle Woods. Not sure what UCLA was thinking about that time.
Well, you know, one of the things they do with Rocky Long, their defensive coordinator, is all of the players get the signal. Look at them all looking over. This way there's no confusion as to, oh, I thought it was this call or that call or this front or this coverage. They all look. But I guess if Rocky's a little long, yeah, it's like, okay, here we go. Get back in there. Let's go. But anyway, that's what happened. They were all looking for the play. Long had a little trouble getting it in. And pretty soon, you only have everybody looking in the wrong direction.
It only cost them 4 yards. This is DeLon Washington again. Robinson trying to get his team stoked up. Dean Blevins, what's up?
Well, the coaching staff is talking to the players over here on the USC sideline, looking up at the clock and the score, saying, guys, 60 minutes, do not let down. The game will be full of ups and downs. And they were referring to the interception. They were also telling the receivers to make sure and come back to the football, feeling perhaps that the ball that was intercepted earlier would not have been intercepted had the receiver come back.
That's a good point, Dean. John, it appeared that way. Larry Parker, number 80, didn't seem to come back to it. Hence the pick.
Yeah, and he had so little room on the sideline, he needed to come back because the quarterback couldn't lead him out.
3rd and 3, incomplete, intended for Bastinelli. USC will have to punt. A quick slant pattern intended for number 25. Incomplete. And a good defensive sequence that time for UCLA. Into punt is Jim Wren, one of the top punters in the nation, averaging 45.4 yards per punt. Gets off a low line drive. Paul Guidry lets it bounce at the 35. And it's down at the 36-yard line. Ryan Tyeska downing it. Let's go back to 1989 in this series, when this 42-yard strike from quarterback Brett Johnson was a big play, setting up a potentially game-winning opportunity for the Bruins. Bob Velasco from 54 yards out would have won it, but he hits it off the crossbar, and the game ends in a 10-10 tie. John Spagnola, we will not see any more ties in college football.
That's true. But what's great about a rivalry like this, and this is rivalry weekend, I mean, there's just so many moments that are cherished from these kind of battles year in and year out. You carry them with them for the rest of your life.
Skip Hicks carrying the ball on that play. Brought down at the 35-yard line by Cabell of USC tacklers. 13:03 to play in the first half. USC leading 10-0. UCLA yet to establish the running game.
Yeah, Hicks has 5 carries, only 5 yards, so the Trojans have shut him down in the running game. That's going to make it difficult for Cade McNown to operate.
He's facing 2nd down and 11. Split backs this time behind McNown. Fires complete for the first down. At the 48-yard line, Jim McElroy, number 85. A 13-yard pickup and a first down. McElroy 4-0 against Dalen McCutcheon and UCLA. They first competed against one another when they were 12 years old. McElroy at Inglewood, McCutcheon at Rowland Heights.
McCutcheon looks like he got hit on that play. He's limping a little bit. He's coming off that hip pointer last week against Arizona, and it looks like his hand even got hit on that play. He's shaking it a little bit.
Backs out of the eye on 1st and 10. Skip Hicks busting one. And he fell down, might have gained a few more yards. Hicks slips and falls at the 37-yard line, but not before picking up 15 on that play.
That Tropical Express might have got him. That's a little slick. Let's see where McNown got hit on the previous play. Yeah, see his hand, his left hand, just got rubbed as Darrell Russell came through. Checking a nail and a thumb. Now, he's not like a baseball pitcher. You know, they get those things and they're out for 3 weeks. He stays in there and he sucks it up.
Got to get the manicure before the game.
That's right.
12 minutes to go in the first half.
I got all the baseball pitchers in the world going to beat me right now with the ball.
You'll never go to a Phillies game back home, will you? UCLA moving the ball. Timeout on the field. We'll take one too. Stick with us. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road, and the United States Postal Service. Well, just a few hundred yards away from the Rose Bowl is a nice golf course.
Oh.
And that guy's been watching you golf, John.
Oh, thousands of dollars of lessons for that. He had a good finish, though, didn't he?
No mulligans.
High finish.
First down and 10. Here's the reverse. The reverse throw. They open up the bag of tricks. And it's incomplete. Skip Hicks couldn't squeeze the pill as Bob Toledo dips into his bag of tricks.
Well, we already had the throwback to the tight end. This is the double reverse. Now, this is a pass they scored on against a couple weeks ago against Washington State. You can see the defense is blinking their eyes. That's why you had that picture like that. Throwback to Hicks. Now, Hicks is open. He's got some room, but he just takes his eye off the football, doesn't secure it, and a big play goes awry.
Would have had the first down. Instead, it's 2nd and 10 at the 37. Don't sleep on Bob Toledo, though. You can bet there'll be one more trick play before this game's over. Come on, Jamal! Pass complete at the 34-yard line to the tight end, number 96, Jamal Clark. A couple plays ago, Hicks slipping.
Yeah, that's right. They had the Tropical Express. Good burst up the middle, but see how his feet just slip out? That's where the big front came in from Hawaii and dumped about 1.5 inches of rain in the LA area. Accidents all over the place.
Things get a little dicey when they see a little rain out here in California. 3rd down and 6. UCLA not too proficient in such situations today. 0 for the game. McNown to pass. And there is their first 3rd down conversion, complete to number 25, Derek Ayers, coming straight out of Compton, California. In last year's win, he saw action at tailback, this time doing well as a receiver, John.
It's one of those bunch plays where a lot of people get together. Chad Morton's in single coverage and actually does a good job of closing on the football, but just can't knock the ball away with his left hand. That's by a bunch pattern. I mean, it's where 3 receivers get in the same area and then they just separate in different directions. When you have man-on-man coverage, it can cause problems. Assignment chains, shifting defensively and all that kind of stuff.
McNown now, John, looking good. They fake the reverse. And number 1, Keith Brown, the 200-pound freshman, on the carry. Down to the 21-yard line. Bob Toledo, noticeably, well, not quite as rife with humor as he usually is. A lot of stuff on his plate this week. Speaking to a lot of groups, as was his counterpart on the other side of the field, John Robinson. This is a big game for both coaches in the grand scheme of things. 10:22 to play in the first half, 2nd and 5. On the blitz, the pass is complete to Derek Ayers. Coming out of the backfield that time, Sammy Knight, the linebacker, making the tackle. Ayers doing a good job to squeeze the ball.
Yeah, but McNown threw that ball not off his back foot. It was almost horizontal to the air or to the ground by the time he threw that football. A lot of pressure right up the middle from Chris Claiborne right there, number 55 on the blitz. The true freshman. He and Andy Katzenmoyer, 2 guys, he's at Ohio State, have stepped in as true freshmen and played outstanding at the middle linebacker position.
Yeah, anyone who wears number 55 at USC carrying a lot of pride with them. 3rd and 4. McNown picked off. That's Sammy Knight. And Knight has daylight. He says, see you later. Touchdown, Trojans.
That's Sammy Knight's 5th interception of the year, Mark. And boy, is it a big one. And not only that, what a play he made. What an athletic move. That ball was around his head behind him, and somehow he just stuck his hand up there and made a terrific catch.
Sammy Knight with a huge play for USC. The Trojans now with a 16-0 lead. Just when it appeared as if UCLA was going to move in for some points. The drive thwarted by Knight and the Trojan defense. Abrams with the extra point, and in the 66th edition of this game, Keith Burns says, good job, number 9. Sammy Knight has yet to defeat a UCLA team, but he smells it today. Back at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, USC with a 17-0 lead with 9:19 to play in the first half. The Trojans haven't beaten UCLA in 5 consecutive games. David Bell, number 37, kicking off. Back deep, Jim McElroy and Derek Ayers for the Bruins.
Smart play. Just get on the football. The momentum of the ball went into the end zone. Boy, that's embarrassing. That's like the shortstop in Little League.
Right through the 5-hole.
Watch Sammy Knight here. He's going to bait Cade McNown and lead him to believe he's blitzing, and then he's going to fall off on Skip Hicks in coverage. See that? What a great play. Gets it with the left hand, goes down to the end zone. Here's a guy who was switched from strong safety to linebacker this year. Did not complain at all. And there, Cade McNown is talking with Al Borges, his offensive coordinator. And they're both discussing this. And there's Sammy Knight. What a great play. I mean, for a senior to make an impact play like that in the game, it's got to feel awfully good.
Backside of the eye, John, in 1st and 10. They give it to the fullback. Number 49, Cheyenne Caldwell. The 239-pound sophomore at 6'1". Navy got a yard. It'll be 2nd down, about 9 to go. Sammy Knight charging up the Trojans moments ago with a long interception return. There's a guy, number 9, who was suspended for a game earlier this year because of a controversy involving shoes for merchandise. McNown to pass on 2nd down, going downtown. There's contact. The UCLA receiver falls, and it's incomplete. Chad Morton, number 7, almost had another interception.
Well, they're trying to go to Eric Scott, but Chad Morton is looking up at the football. Let's see one thing clear, the big guy here. And Chad Morton's looking up at the football. Scott trips over him a little bit, but Morton, as you can see, is looking up, trying to make a play on the football. That's inadvertent contact, although there's a lot of Bruin fans who probably disagree with me on that one.
And you can hear them too. And look at the discrepancy in total yardage. 170 to 51 in favor of USC. Big numbers on the board, though. The ones that count. 17 Love. 3rd down and 9. 4 wideouts for the Bruins. McNown escapes one tackler. Fires for the 1st down at the 34-yard line. Complete to Farmer, number 87. Well, Friday, warm up the turkey, throw it in the microwave, or eat it cold with the stuffing. Any way you like it. 8 a.m. Pacific time. Texas A&M against Texas, followed by Colorado, Nebraska. Number 6 against number 5. A couple of huge games in the Big 12. Then Saturday, number 1 against number 3. Danny Werfel trying to persuade those Heisman ballots in his favor. And then, after that, Notre Dame against USC at the Coliseum at Vermont and Martin Luther King Boulevard. It's a rough game, and Dean Blevins has an injury report for us downstairs.
Guys, Gene Waters behind me here, number 76, is out. He has hurt a shoulder, putting ice on it now, and the trainers couldn't give me any answer with certainty as to whether he would return or not, but he appears to be in significant pain, and I doubt that he is able to return. Now, the players have been running up and down the sideline trying to encourage one another. It's been a nightmarish start for them. They're startled over here, but they're talking about, guys, we've got to play with enthusiasm. We've got to continue to play with high energy and a lot of enthusiasm, and it's really difficult for them right now with a devastating start like this.
Yeah, it's interesting, Dean, you talk about energy and enthusiasm. John, Dean, UCLA stayed at our hotel last night, holed up at the Ritz-Carlton. Great hospitality, might add. And we saw some of their players late last night with a lot of emotion running through the hallways, and even this morning they couldn't sit still.
No, they had a real emotional players meeting. They all got up and talked, the seniors did. I ran into Cade McNown, and he got into a sprinter stance in the hallway. He was bouncing off the walls. So, I mean, there's no question that they were up for this game. Sometimes you can be too up for a football game, though.
Speaking of McNown, his numbers so far today, 8 of 13, 49 yards, with a pick that went for 6 the other way. If you don't know, just ask Sammy Knight about it. 1st and 10. That's the freshman, number 1, Keith Brown. Chris Claiborne, number 55, making the tackle. Brown is a guy that Bob Toledo is high on. Says that he has a lot of talent, and he is the future at that position for UCLA when Hicks graduates. Now look at the scenic beauty here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. These aerial pictures are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle based in Carson, California. Tonight's pilot is Tom Mattis from Huntington Beach, California. 2nd down and 6 for UCLA. The screen pass, and that's Brown. Brown has another UCLA 1st down with 7:39 to play in the half. Claiborne again in on the tackle.
Well, that screen was set up real well. One thing that Al Borges, the offensive coordinator, told us is that this Trojan defense is aggressive. They get upfield. He thought he could trap somewhat effectively today. And certainly if a team is aggressive upfield, you can trap them, throw the screen plays, the draws, all those kind of plays work to negate some of that aggressiveness up front.
John, the one thing, though, we haven't seen them do is get the ball vertically downfield.
Well, they did try to Eric Scott that one time, but Chad Morton made a good play on the ball. We'll see more of that.
7:39 to play in the half. McNown, plenty of time, wide open at the 30. And another 1st down. Grebe again, slowly becoming a favorite target of McNown. A 25-yard pickup. The Bruins' 7th 1st down of the afternoon. Kelly on the tackle.
Mike Grebe with a couple passes, receptions in this game. He releases downfield and settles in the middle of a 2-deep zone. Does a nice job of not running too far, and McNown does an excellent job of not leading him into coverage. A lot of times a quarterback can really help a receiver out by throwing a football, getting the receiver to just throttle it down a little bit, and that's what Grebe did.
Help keep the receiver's head on, too.
Yeah, that helps, believe me. Makes you want to come back for the next one.
1st and 10 at the 27. They hand it off to Skip Hicks, and he put his hat on the defender, and there was an intense collision at the 20. Hicks appears to be just a little bit dazed after that hit.
Watch a good block by the tight end there, 92. That's Tyrone Pierce, gets a piece inside, and Hicks running with authority. Takes the ball upfield. Boy, he gets a good hit right there. Tell you what, these boys are playing today, aren't they?
Sure, out of Wichita Falls, Texas. His dad, Charles, played at Southwest State in Oklahoma. Comes from a good football family. I'm sure they're watching right now at David Nix's place in Wichita Falls. The ball on the 20-yard line. 6:24 to play in the half. They give it to the fullback. Trying to bust a quick one. That's Craig Walendi, number 47, who pounds it down to the 16-yard line.
Another 1st down. This is an impressive drive by the Bruins. Running right behind their left guard, Chad Souter. Behind the center, Sean Stewart. Stewart's an interesting story. He has sophomore eligibility, but he is actually a senior academically. And that's because he enrolled after the winter period, redshirted the 1st year, took some extra courses. So he has a lot of football ahead of him and maybe not that much school.
That's an ideal student curriculum right there.
It sure is.
A look at the current drive by the Bruins. Single back set. They run it into trouble. Going between the tackles that time is Brown. And a late flag on the play at the 11.
Here's the play before, just that play right up the middle to Walenda. And again, that might just be a little bit of a hold on the left side there by Chad Souter, but you know, it's not holding if they don't call it. That's the first rule of blocking.
Held him like a grudge that time. 5:48 to play in the 1st half. Here's the call.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Half the distance to the goal line, automatic 1st down. Yeah, I think Cedric Jefferson gets nailed.
Watch 97 get up. See if he throws a left.
Against the Trojans, first and goal, UCLA.
That might have been, yeah, it looks like Brian Kelly got into it there to free safety, and the flag went out immediately.
Well, they get a little help. First and goal from the 7. McNown audibling at the line. Too tight, single back set. Brown. Brought down at the 1-yard line by Brian Kelly. We're seeing a lot of Keith Brown this afternoon.
And we're seeing a lot of fake reverses and everything else. The Bruins are 34-38, 24 touchdowns, 10 field goals in the red zone this year. Certainly want to get a touchdown being down 17-0 in this situation. But Keith Brown doing a nice job of spelling Skip Hicks. He fumbled the football last week against Arizona, but did a very nice job there of holding on to the football, getting around the end zone.
Second and goal. Brown switching up the tempo. 3 tight ends. This is their stallion formation, and some premature movement up front.
Yeah, Tyrone Pierce, the right tight end.
Nobody said it was going to be easy, Bob Toledo as head coach.
Tell you what happened is actually Chad Overhauser, the tackle, influenced the tight end there. A lot of times you can't hear because it's so loud down by the end zone. You're removed from the quarterback. Now watch the right tackle flinch, and that sends Pierce off, but both of them are called for moving on that play.
That's UCLA's first penalty, John, of the game. Pretty disciplined so far. A look at defensively what USC has done in the red zone. A daunting task ahead right here. Second and goal from the 6-yard line for UCLA. McNown complete. Wraps up Dan Farmer nicely. Textbook tackling that time by number 40 Deuce. Some of the coaches feel that he's a year away from being a first-round draft choice. He has great presence.
You know what else helps him is that he's a former quarterback, and when you get free safeties in blitz coverage where they have to cover people and they have that cornerback background, they can make plays.
A look at the Trojan Brain Trust. We'll be back to the Rose Bowl in just a minute. Tonight, one of the biggest college football rivalries played out. Auburn against Alabama, 4:30 Pacific tonight on ESPN, our Disney cousins. That's going to be a heck of a ball game. You know, every time I hear that victory march at USC fight song, I feel like Charlton Heston's going to emerge from a tunnel somewhere. A look at the current Bruin drive. Hicks and Ayers. Third down and goal. McNown's going to take it himself. Touchdown UCLA.
But that is just a great call by Bob Toledo, Al Borges in a do-or-die situation. Third down, goal to go. They set all the receivers out, and this is the one thing that scares the Trojans. They set up the quarterback draw. See Sammy Knight come in, get picked up a little bit in the blitz, and he overruns the football, and McNown has a lot of speed and mobility. He can make things happen as a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the one thing of many, I guess, that the USC defensively that they were worried about with McNown. Bjorn Merton now in for the extra point. Merton, the former All-American, makes it 17-7. A nice drive by Cade McNown and UCLA to finally put some points on the board. Right now, let's check in with John Saunders.
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 96, all the day's scores and highlights, plus a more in-depth look at the big one, Ohio State, Michigan.
John, it came down to 2 critical possessions in the second half. I'll break it down at halftime.
All right, it's all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 96.
Okay, John and Todd back here, 17-7 with 4:10 remaining on an absolutely gorgeous late November afternoon in Southern California. A look from the Goodyear blimp high above the Rose Bowl. 4:10 remaining in the first half. That last scoring drive, an extremely impressive one by UCLA. 80 yards in 12 plays, using a little over 5 minutes on the clock.
There's R.J. Soward right there. He's second in the nation in kickoff return. See how he's hiding behind Miller? This way, they can't determine when they're kicking off where he's going to line up. He'll go from the right side to the left side. They're going to try and kick away from him. Here he's finally breaking and going to his left.
Soward, John, already with over 100 yards receiving in this game. 115 to be exact. Greg Andrusik to kick off. This game causing many a casualty on both sides of the field. The kick taken by the up man, number 88, Travis Hall. And for more on some of those casualties, Dean Blevins.
Yeah, Mark, the offensive line of the Bruins really being tested right now. Behind me, Overhauser, a mainstay up front, is out of this ball game with an ankle injury. And we showed you a moment ago, Waters, he is officially out now with a dislocated shoulder. So that was a big touchdown for UCLA to get, especially realizing that they are now down to a very thin group of people up front.
That's really going to hurt their chances of moving the ball on the ground, especially.
Sure is. He was named first team All Pac-10 by Football News.
Otten on the play fake on 1st and 10. Fires incomplete to number 2, Chris Miller. Threw it behind him just a little bit. Miller, the cousin of Keyshawn Johnson. After high school, he traveled around the country spreading the word about the Muslim faith. Took a couple years off. Came back to play at USC. There he is, number 2. Great guy on special teams as well. Has also blocked a punt this season. Great quickness and speed. He's had some trouble dropping passes.
He has, and he has to learn to use his speed and change speed. Some guys run too fast in their pass routes. I think that's what Miller has a problem with.
They toss it to the short side of the field. DeLon Washington plowing his way down to the 39. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 or 4 to go. Travis Kershke making the tackle along with Javelin Guidry. Washington now coming in out of the game. Soward coming in along with Lavelle Woods. It's 3rd down and 3 to go. On a couple of occasions today, they've converted on 3rd down by passing to Rodney Sermons, but he's not in the ball game right now. 3:18 to play in the half. Otten to pass. The flanker screen complete. They get it to Speedy, and Speedy is going to go. See ya, and I wouldn't want to be a number 18 for 6 more.
Oh, yeah, the flags are coming out now for excessive celebration. A little showboating going into the end zone, but wow. You know, he is playing at a different level than everybody else. It's as if he's in fast motion and everybody else is in slow motion. It's the same flanker screen. Now watch this cut. Look how quickly he cuts to the outside without losing any speed at all, and nobody's going to catch him going down the sideline. What do you think?
R.J. Soward.
Ooh.
One big leap for the Trojans. And John Robinson is hotter than July on the sideline.
Oh, and I'll tell you what else. He's going to be answering a lot of questions about why he hasn't been playing this guy sooner this season.
The freshman emerging as Superman today for the Trojans. 4 receptions.
I saw him make a catch against Stanford, 33-yarder. He caught the ball behind him with one hand, zigzagged all the way through the secondary.
Soward, John, 4 receptions, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, and we haven't even played a full half of football. Right now, down at the corner of Vermont and Martin Luther King Boulevard in Watts, they love number 18. They're running out to the nearest sports store and buying that jersey. Look at those numbers. Gaudy, fat.
That's a good field goal average, isn't it there? Or a punting average for 43.8? Huh? Boy, that's just incredible, and he's a good diver, too. Pete Rose would be proud of this.
I'll give him big points on that. Now, you brought up a very valid point. Why wasn't he playing earlier? Well, I know hindsight's always 20/20.
I think a lot of time, you take time getting freshmen into a season. You know, they have to get accustomed to the books and so many other things that are associated with playing college sports. And you don't want them to have an unsuccessful debut as a freshman. But certainly, if there was ever a coming out party for a player, this is it right here today.
They talk about him, John, in the same glowing terms with respect to potential as Curtis Conway, John Morton, Keyshawn Johnson. They say that number 18 could be the next great USC receiver. And he is lending a lot of credence to those statements today.
Yeah, he came into the season, I mean, only 9 catches, 222 yards. He has 4 for 175 today. He's almost doubled his season output in 10 games.
David Bell set to kick off for USC. McElroy and Ayers back deep. The Trojans lead 24-7. John Robinson, irate, execrating the officials moments ago for that call. McElroy on the return. Well, Monday night, after breaking his share of NFL records, Dan Marino looks for the big one at home. Dolphins, Steelers, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
You know, they're soured on the sideline in this series. The best receiving game by a Trojan receiver is Keyshawn Johnson with exactly 175 yards.
And he put his lips on Chris Miller for that screen he gave him. Nice little pick play.
It's the only person that could tackle him all day right there.
UCLA trying to stop that Trojan momentum. Keith Brown running. Grant Pearsall, number 43, the strong safety, coming up and making the tackle for USC. 2:47 to play in the first half. There's a look at Pearsall, the 6'1", 190-pound junior. A huge hitter from Orange, California. These players see each other on the streets. They bump into each other at parties and in the malls. Bragging rights at stake this afternoon. Backs out of the offset eye on second down. That one almost picked off and dropped.
Yeah, Cusano came over, drove the football, just got his left hand on it. That's a dangerous pass across the field. That's the pass that got intercepted against Arizona, from the left hash mark across his body all the way across the football field. And what makes it that much harder is when you drop back and you have people in your throat. Look at Darrell Russell, 96. When you have somebody penetrate right up the middle, it is a devastating feeling. There's Cusano just tipping that ball away. But the quarterback really has no place to escape when that rush comes up. He can elude a rush from the outside. Up the middle, it's awfully tough.
John, it sets up 3rd and 10. Steps up the middle this time, as you mentioned. Hey, if you can't find a receiver open, do it yourself. Cade McNown, 17 yards on the pickup and a Bruin first down. Tackled by Cook. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has awarded nearly $6 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. 2 minutes now to play in the first half. McNown and the Bruins trailing 24-7. Trying to keep alive that 5-game winning streak against USC. Oh, man! Sammy Knight is bringing the funk. Ooh, did he hit him?
Oh, thank goodness Derek Ayers got up. I thought something broke in our booth. That's how loud the hit was.
Sammy Knight brought everything on that one.
Watch number 9, Sammy Knight right here. Drop back, and then he sees the receiver.
I can't believe Ayers got up. Knight coming on a blitz. McNown finds his receiver complete. for a first down at the 40-yard line, a 13-yard pickup to McElroy.
You know, I know McNown has made his share of mistakes this year, but I'm impressed with the way he's hanging in the pocket, completing passes, scrambling for first downs. There's a lot of fire in this young man.
He's picked his spots nicely, John, in terms of knowing when to scramble and when to throw. He's 12 of 19, 98 yards, and 1 interception that went for a touchdown the other way.
Geez whiz, that's the second time they're trying to do the R.J. Sauer thing, and it's just not working.
Yeah, Eric Scott fell on his wallet that time.
Oh, man, they got to watch R.J. to figure out how to run that play. Come on.
Got to stay on your feet. They lose a couple yards. It's 2nd down and 12. Time now paramount for UCLA. 1:02 to go in the first half. McNown takes off, and he stays on his feet. The clock keeps running. The ball down at the 34. Brian Kelly and Chris Claiborne on the tackle for the Trojans.
I think they ought to call a timeout here. It's 3rd down. McNown ran to the side. They got a timeout left. Use it here and regroup. You have to convert and get field. But look, now they're trying to run a play without a huddle. The quarterback got dinged on the sidelines. No, guys, call a timeout. You've wasted 17, 18 seconds.
Yeah, they have 1 remaining. McNown feeling heat. Throws it into traffic, and the clock stops with 22 seconds to play in the half on the incompletion.
Well, now they have to convert on 4th down. There's a flag down on the play. Yeah, that's just, you know, that's where you can help. Your quarterback's on the other sideline. He just got hit hard. He's coming back to the middle of the field. A timeout should be called there.
In to kick a field goal, John Spagnuolo, from 52 yards out. Bjorn Merton, his career long is just 50. Merton was an All-American as a freshman. Had a disappointing sophomore year and has regained his form since. From 52 yards out. Had the distance, but pulls it left. No good. And an opportunity falls by the wayside for Bob Toledo and the Bruins.
You know, we saw a game earlier this year where McNown was running a 2-minute drill. Remember before halftime against Washington State, he called timeout on 4th down when they didn't convert. So he's had problems. They didn't execute it well. Against Stanford, the game they lost, they had trouble at the end of the game. You know, this is something that they need to work on with Cade McNown. And certainly, you know, jump up and down on the sideline. Somebody's going to see you and call a timeout. But here's a situation where McNown could have used some help from either his coaches or his teammates.
You never know, John, how players are going to react in the heat of the moment. You can practice it all you want. It's a little different in the game. And here's Otten completing a pass for a first down at the 44-yard line. They stop the clock, move the chains with 10 seconds to go in the half. Chris Miller squeezing it, making the reception, a 21-yard pickup.
Well, USC not content to sit on a 17-point lead either. 10 seconds left.
And they burn their last timeout. Brad Otten going to the sidelines. They take a break on the field. We're going to check in with some other programming on ABC. Back in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl, the 66th renewal of USC and UCLA. John Robinson and his staff thinking about the next series of plays. They've got 10 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, you know, USC may feel pretty good right now. They have not played well in second half games they've played this year. They've had some problems throughout the season, too, with some players who've been suspended.
Stay loose here, guys.
Running back Sean Walters got suspended. DeLon Washington, Darrell Russell, Brian Kelly, Sammy Knight, Larry Parker on that sneaker deal.
How quickly
and that, you know, that can really upset your team. Just a hard thing to recover from.
Just a year ago, John, they were playing in the Rose Bowl. Right. Parker in motion. Otten to the sideline.
Oh,
and it's incomplete.
I'll tell you, nice effort, though, by Miller, trying to drag the back foot. Made the catch. It's amazing. See how difficult that catch was? I mean, here's a guy who's dropped a share of balls, and here's a difficult catch to make. Hold on. Try not to leap. There's the chalk from that left foot. Ooh, boy. Man, that was real close, wasn't it?
I'm glad I don't have to call that one.
I mean, you see the chalk going from his left foot. The question is whether that toe got off the ground at all. But it looked like he was dragging it the whole way. Now, if you can make a catch like that, you can catch a little 10-yard hook that hits you right in the numbers.
That's the secret. I guess you got to make it tough for number 2.
Sometimes it is. You concentrate more.
This might be the last play of the half. And they go back to number 2. Didn't miss by much. But Chris Miller and Brad Otten and the Trojans take a 24-7 lead into the locker room after the first 30 minutes of play trying to break that losing streak against UCLA. Valvoline halftime is next with scores and highlights. Stick around.
Valvoline Halftime 96, brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. From our New York studios, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
Welcome back to Valvoline Halftime 96. John Saunders alongside Todd Blackledge. More on the big game today. Michigan knocking Ohio State from the ranks of the unbeaten, taking away their shot at a national championship, and the Buckeyes as much to blame as Michigan.
Well, I think in the second half we saw a team that was really playing and coaching not to lose rather than winning the game, and it came down to 2 critical possessions in the second half. For Michigan, their first possession of the third quarter, Brian Greasy against the blitz looks for Ty Streets, and Sean Springs, the best cover guy for Ohio State, slips and falls. Street catches it on the move, turns it into a touchdown, the only touchdown that would be scored in the game. Ohio State got a great chance. They're next to the last possession. They get it on the 45 of Michigan, and they take Orlando Pace and put him as a decoy on the right side. They try to run behind 2 tight ends to the left. Michigan is not fooled by the trick formation. They come up against the run, stop it for a short gain. Now, second down. This is a blitz down for Michigan. They bring the pressure. Ohio State tries to slip a draw in. It's well defended again, tripped up for a short gain. Ohio State kept trying to run. They only gained 5 yards rushing in the second half. Now it's third down. They're expecting blitz. Ohio State tries to throw the quick slant against the blitz, but Michigan drops out into a zone defense. This pass is nearly intercepted. The best field position Ohio State had in the second half, a chance to take control of the game. They go 3 plays and out and have nothing to show for it in the loss to Michigan.
As a result, for the second consecutive year, Ohio State has to share the Big Ten championship with Northwestern. 13-9 is the final. Lloyd Carr, after a disappointing season, this really takes the bitter pill out of it just a little bit.
We came here expecting to win, and we knew if we got into the fourth quarter and the game was close, that we were going to win, because that's just the way we planned it. And these kids did something else.
Now, what this means next week here on ABC, we have #1 Florida against #3 FSU, but that's likely to be 1 against 2 if things hold up today, and Florida State goes on to beat Maryland. That's next Saturday at noon, and we'll take our show on the road in Tallahassee as well. BYU against Utah. Winner of this game knew they were going to the WAC championship game. Lavelle Edwards trying to get there. Ronnie Jenkins, 16 yards on the touchdown run. They really ran the ball a lot today.
Ran the ball very well. Ronnie Jenkins and Brian McKenzie combined for 341 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground.
Ronnie Jenkins with 3 of those, and so it means the WAC championship game, December 7th, right here on ABC. BYU against Wyoming. Rutgers against Notre Dame. For Lou Holtz, his final home game as coach of the Fighting Irish, and he's marching onto the field. The fans in the crowd, thanks a lot, Lou. And he had a terrific run, including a national championship. Ron Paulus, will he be back for his 5th year? Well, he hooks up with Malcolm Johnson, 42 yards on this play.
He did very little wrong in the ballgame. 14 of 18, 257 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The speculation's over about the coach. Now they start talking about, will Ron Paulus come back as the quarterback?
All right, Bob Davie, the assistant defensive coordinator, will get the job. That will be announced in the next few days. 62-0 is the final. Ron Paulus, well, he becomes now the all-time leading touchdown passer. We'll have more of that in a moment. But after the game, Lou Holtz addressed the crowd.
We're going to have a new coach. We're going to have a great team. I will be with you. I can only say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea how much you meant to me. I've been blessed. Thank you, and God bless you.
A great run by Lou Holtz. Number 100 at Notre Dame. Knute Rockne's record is safe, but Lou Holtz would like it that way. Meanwhile, Ron Paulus, Rick Meyer's record is not safe. Now 42 touchdown passes. That's #1 all-time in Notre Dame. North Carolina against Duke. Carolina's trying to bounce back from a loss to Virginia, and Chris Keldorf gets knocked out of the game with a dislocated ankle. Oscar Davenport to L.C. Stevens, 80 yards in the reception, and North Carolina bounces back this week.
Yeah, Oscar Davenport is the guy that replaced Keldorf. Did a good job. There's Keldorf. Nice touch of class cheering his teammate on.
27-10 the final. Duke, the first ACC team to end their season winless. Syracuse blows out Temple 36-15. 8 straight wins now for Syracuse after starting 0-2, including a loss to Minnesota. Virginia Tech over West Virginia 31-14. Cornell Brown, 3 sacks, 10 tackles, and an interception. Jim Druckenmiller with 2 touchdown passes. Boston College in Miami. Dan Henning, it has been a tough season for him. It will be even tougher today. Scott Covington, 76 yards to Tony Gator.
Covington, 9 of 12, 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. Did a nice job filling in for Ryan Clement in the ballgame for the Hurricanes.
A couple of touchdown passes, as you say, as Miami wins 43-26. Indiana over Purdue in the lame Duck Bowl. Jim Coletto and Bill Mallory not back. Coletto will be replaced by Joe Tiller. He was announced head coach. He's coaching at Wyoming. Will finish the rest of the season. Missouri over Kansas, 42-25 the final there. Corby Jones had an 80-yard touchdown run, and Brock Olive had 3 touchdowns. And Navy beats Georgia Tech 36-26. Joe Hamilton, a touchdown run and 2 touchdown passes. Yale against Harvard, the final game for Carm Koza. He loses at 26-21. And Koza, 32 years. Take a look at that record, including 10 Ivy League titles. He will be sorely missed. And in the longest rivalry in college football, Lehigh beats Lafayette 23-19. We'll be back with more right after this. Stick around. Welcome back to Valvoline Halftime 96. Second half still to come, but we've already talked some about what happened between Ohio State and Michigan. We want to take another closer look at this because the Wolverines came into this game a down season with some losses that they didn't expect to have on their schedule. They come into Ohio State and do it once again at the Big Horseshoe. Orlando Pace, well, he had a shot at the Heisman, maybe not anymore. Peppy Pearson, though, 9 yards in the run. Scott Dreisbach to Chris Howard, who gets drilled by the freshman. Andy Katzenmoyer right there. Still a scoreless game. Dreisbach, you see the ice on the left elbow, hyperextended. Brian Greasy comes in, and he hooks up with Ty Streets.
Brian Greasy was the guy that played against Ohio State last year in Ann Arbor, got the win for the Wolverines, came in and did a nice job off the bench today as well.
And Michigan had the only touchdown of the game. For Ohio State, it comes down to the final play. They got to heave it towards the end zone and then just pray, but it is picked off, and Michigan knocks off Ohio State once again. 13-9 was the final. Chris Howard, the first back to rush for over 100 yards against Ohio State this year. For John Cooper, just another disappointing loss to Michigan.
Well, no question about it. We didn't get it done offensively. We kicked field goals in the first half when we had chances for touchdowns. First and goal on the 3, didn't get a touchdown, and then we slipped down on the long pass, and they scored, and we didn't. So, you know, their defense won the game.
Michigan playing the spoiler once again, taking an Ohio State perfect record and just slam dunking it. But the rushing totals was the story of the game.
And historically in this game, you've got to be able to run the football and stop the run. In the first half, Michigan only 27 yards on the ground, Ohio State 142, but a complete reversal in the second half. Michigan dominated the line of scrimmage.
Florida State against Maryland. Florida State will move up into the number 2 spot, and Bobby Bowden says don't look past Maryland to Florida, but they did. They were down 7-0, but then Thad Busby uncorks this one to Peter Warwick, 44 yards on the touchdown, a 14-7 lead. Busby has left the game with a sprained knee. He may return. 21-10 is the score there. And next week, Florida against Florida State. You can see it right here on ABC. We'll take the studio on the road to Tallahassee, so join us. Michigan State and Penn State. Nick Saban has done a terrific job with this team. And Todd Schultz, his quarterback, to Cedric Irvin, who then launches this one downfield, 56 yards to Carter for the touchdown.
Yeah, one thing about Nick Saban, he's not afraid to take chances. He's kind of a gambler. Shows up on that play. A nice first half for Michigan State.
Aaron Harris, a 49-yard touchdown run for Penn State. Kentucky and Tennessee, Jay Graham has a touchdown run. They lead 21-10. Iowa State and Kansas State. Troy Davis, it's just a little 3-yard touchdown run if you were watching it, but it winds up being over 2,000 yards for Troy Davis, and he and Byron Hanspard having terrific years. We'll have more on that in a moment. 35-20 the score there. Wisconsin and Illinois, last game for Lou Tepper, 35-15. Ron Dane, 41 carries, 289 yards and 4 touchdowns.
He's now in the top 5 all-time of freshman rushers in NCAA history. A huge day for Dane.
Stanford against Cal. They'll polish up your tuba and get out the band. Pat Barnes intercepted by Kaylee Wong. He takes it the rest of the way, 56 yards. I said Kaylee Wong for the touchdown. 17-0 at that point, and Stanford having their way right now.
A win here will assure sole possession of third place in the Pac-10 for the Cardinal.
Oregon and Oregon State, Tony Graziani with a touchdown run, 28-3. Oregon has the lead. Texas Tech and Oklahoma. This one a 3-0 game. Byron Hanspard with just 10 yards at halftime in this game. You can take a look at what he's done for the year, over 2,000 yards. But Troy Davis, the first player in the history of the NCAA to rush for over 2,000 yards in back-to-back seasons. The Chase Tennis Championship, Steffi Graf over Jana Novotná, and Martina Hingis right now with the lead over Eva Maioli. You can see the singles final tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern here on ABC. Back with more in a moment.
Valvoline Halftime 96, brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline.
And your second half is coming up in just a moment, but first a reminder, a big weekend of college football. Starting on Friday, Texas A&M against Texas as the Longhorns look towards the Big 12 championship game, and Colorado against Nebraska. Winner of that will also be in the Big 12 championship game. On Saturday, Florida and Florida State. Someone will come away with a loss, and someone will go on with a chance for the national title. And Notre Dame against USC. Todd and I will be in Tallahassee as we take the studio on the road, so stay with us beginning next Friday. And also, we want to remind you, if you missed the score, log on to America Online. Keyword ABC Sports. Back after this message, and a word from our ABC stations.
We are at halftime at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Look at some of the structures going up in anticipation of the Rose Bowl parade. USC with a 24-7 lead. I'm Mark Jones along with John Spagnola. Dean Blevins down on the sidelines. Mike Riley, the offensive coordinator for USC, said all week long we have looked really fast and very good in practice. John Robinson said the morale of the team has improved during the last 2 weeks. Those were prophetic words.
Absolutely, and that players-only meeting, I think sometimes you get good results from that. I think in this case the players pointed the fingers at themselves. They came out and they played with a vengeance so far in today's game.
One guy who has looked particularly fast on offense, R.J. Soward. On defense, Sammy Knight. Here's Soward first.
And he gets a nice pick play right there from Chris Miller. Number 2 comes in, and you're allowed to do this in college football. Block downfield. And there's Clary, 71, who comes up and makes a good block. And Soward, with so much vision and running ability, he has ignited this crowd this afternoon.
Soward with 10.3 speed in the 100 meters and good diving ability too. Maybe he can fly.
Yeah, he's got great aerodynamics, that's for sure, doesn't he?
Meanwhile, defensively for USC, some big plays were made, particularly by Sammy Knight. But right now we're going to go downstairs to Dean Blevins, who spoke moments ago with John Robinson.
Coach, I don't know what you did to those guys. That's a heck of a first half, and Soward is the answer to any offensive woes, isn't he?
Well, he's going to be a great player, and maybe he is one now. We got him the ball, and he made some big plays. I think our defense has done well. We scored so fast we left him out there for about 20 straight plays, but I think we're doing fine so far.
Your coaches were saying 60 minutes. 60 minutes. Is that the message you give at half?
We got to go in at halftime and get better. It's really important for us. We haven't played a full game really great yet, and we have a chance today.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, Dean, there have been times this year when USC has collapsed faster than the Berlin Wall. I mean, they have played some atrocious second half, so surely that was part of the message from John Robinson at halftime. The Trojans set to kick off to begin this third quarter of play. David Bell, number 37, with the honors. Jim McElroy and Derek Ayers back deep for the Bruins. McElroy at the 2. Right up the middle and brought down at the 26-yard line. The hard hits just keep on coming. Darnell Lacey, number 26, was there, along with 35, Tasso Papadakis. There's a look at McElroy, who threw a reverse to Skip Hicks. One of those trick plays in the first half went incomplete. McElroy has thrown 2 touchdown passes in his career at UCLA. One in the game last year and one this year against Washington State.
2 weeks ago to Danny Farmer. Farmer made the play on that. No, he wasn't exactly open on that play.
That'll never show up in the stats, though. 1st and 10. You can hear the crunching down in the field.
That's going to get a flag. Matt Kennelly showing a little not very good judgment. I'm surprised that he got away with that.
No flag on the play. A look at the first half possessions for UCLA. The one that really jumps out off the screen at you is the interception that went for a touchdown. 76 yards the other way. That was Sammy Knight for USC.
That's right. That last possession with the missed field goal. Botched opportunity running a 2-minute offense. It's happened several times this year for the Bruins.
That has been the bane of UCLA. Hicks over the 30. Running over the right side of that offensive line that has now been depleted with the injury of Chad Overhauser, number 69, who is presently suffering from a sprained ankle. Darrell Russell, number 96, making the tackle for USC.
Yeah, it's a good point. Dan Cotting is now in at right tackle, number 70. There you see Dan. Gene Waters was knocked out in this game. And there's Chris Ferris, who's just a freshman himself at left tackle. So this is about as depleted as that tackle position can get. This is where Bob Toledo turns around and says, hey, who wants to play tackle for us on the next play?
No doubt. 3rd down and 3. McNown complete to Jamal Clark. Number 96 with a first down to the 47-yard line. Claiborne making the tackle, but not before a 15-yard pickup by number 96, a guy who has really come on during the last half of the season. Clark, a huge target at 6'5", 261 pounds.
Yeah, he only caught 3 passes all last year. You get an idea of what it's like to be an ant at this football game, looking up at the crowd from within there. But Jamal Clark has really come on, playing well. That's his 18th catch of the year. And he's just suddenly blossomed this year. It all clicked. He's playing real well at that tight end position.
2 catches today for 19 yards. McNown on the waggle. Has a man wide open. Farmer. Touchdown Bruins. No flags on the play.
Oh, boy.
For the strike. Number 87, Dan Farmer with a touchdown.
His father played at UCLA. His uncle played at USC. He's working one-on-one with McCutcheon. McCutcheon is reading inside, not playing his coverage, and then he stumbles. Farmer just kept right on going. And McNown, boy, what a great, impressive throw all the way downfield.
The Bruins striking quickly, and I mean quickly, in the 3rd quarter. Farmer putting up some good numbers himself when we come back. Well, at halftime, John Robinson no doubt told his Trojan team they'd have to play a full 60 minutes. You heard him say it. They have been stung early here in the 3rd quarter. That's Soward, who won't get a chance to return this one. He takes a knee. Andrzejczyk's kick going 8 yards deep. One more look at that touchdown pass.
Well, it's play action, and I have to believe that Dalen McCutcheon, the corner on this play, is covering Danny Farmer's guessing a little bit. He's going to go to that crossing pattern, and watch how he stumbles coming out of. See on the left side or the right side of the screen how he just stumbles coming out of his back pedal. That's usually when the cornerback is guessing he's going to jump a short pattern. You know, McCutcheon doesn't get a whole lot of balls thrown his way, and this Trojan defense has given up its 10th TD pass in the last 48 quarters. So that is a great call by Al Borges on the left side, noticing that McCutcheon gambles a little bit. That's his tendency. You know, when you don't get a lot of balls, you want to get involved, and you sometimes don't play your coverage. You get involved in somebody else's coverage.
John, that's one of the few times, and there is a flag down on the field first.
Yeah, there's the offside, so we're going to re-kick this play. Just a little bit ahead of the kicker. You know, John Robinson has got to be concerned, though. You mentioned that, Mark. They were up against Washington 10-3. They got shut out in the second half, last 21-10. They were up 17-7 to Stanford, only scored 3 points in the second half and lost that 24-20. He talked about playing a complete game. That is very important for this football team today.
Let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins.
You know, Spags, you mentioned USC not scoring and playing well in the second half. I asked Bob Toledo a few moments ago as they came on the field what he told his guys at halftime. He said the first thing I told them was that USC hasn't scored in the second half the last 2 games to give them some confidence. And secondly, he said we've got to get pressure on Brad Otten. And of course, he says we have to be able to contain Soward when they give those underneath screens. But he lets those guys know up front that USC has struggled in the second half.
R.J. Soward, no. 7 yards deep. Andrusik has got.
What are they doing here? Are they putting helium in that football? Every kickoff's been out of the end zone.
He's trying to hit our blimp up top there, I think. Brad Otten is 7 of 14 for 217 yards, a couple of touchdown passes in the first half. He is averaging 31 yards per completion. And this is his first series of the third quarter. Brad Otten, who has suffered through a lot this season, has taken a lot of punishment. Sermon's in motion. This is DeLon Washington on the counter. Flag down at the 20-yard line on the play. Salam with the tackle, a pickup of 12, but will it stand?
You know, you mentioned that about Brad Otten, though. There was a scrimmage in the fall this year where first defense went against first offense, and he called back home to his father, Sid, and said, you know what, Dad, we're in trouble. He said, there's the
10
holding
yards
call.
from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
And he just felt that the tackles weren't far enough along, and he just felt that he was going to get hit a lot this year, and he was right about that. Mike Riley, the offensive coordinator, actually coached Sid, who's the father of Brad Otten. His father, Bud Riley, coached Brad Otten's father back at Weber State. So there's a lot of connections there, a lot of bloodlines.
What a tangled web, huh? 1st and 20, Riley. A lot of speculation surrounding his future. Otten brought down at the 1-yard line. Just inches away from a safety. A loss of 9. Weldon Ford with a sack.
Well, they try to get Otten outside of the pocket with a little play action pass. They try to get him outside, but it's just too much pressure. The center, Jonathan Heimbach, can't get over to get to Weldon Ford, almost to safety. This is one of those plays where they tried to move the pocket, something that they felt they should have done earlier this season with the young tackles they had to give Otten a little more time outside of the pocket. But here, it was almost a devastating result.
2nd down, 29 to go. Bostonelli completed the 18-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 11 to go.
Hey, a gutsy call.
Oh, out of the end
zone, dropping back.
You know it.
I mean, Otten almost backpedaled in his drop out of the end zone when he planted and threw, but I like the rhythm and timing in which he threw that ball. They're trying to get Otten to throw the ball a little sooner. That way, he doesn't have to throw a perfect pass. That's what he did in that situation.
There's Riley, the offensive coordinator. Otten to pass. On the out pattern, complete. That time, Chris Miller hung on to the ball, and he's near the 1st down marker. Number 2, making sure of things that time.
I'll tell you what,
tackle.
Yeah, what courage there, too, by this offense. To take 2 plays like that and make up 30 yards. This game was starting to turn against USC, and they pick up a mammoth 1st down there.
2 big plays out of their own end zone. And look into the eyes of Chris Miller.
Look at Robinson, too. I thought Robinson was going to make the tackle on that play. He was hunched over. He was in that good little bent position with the knees.
A lot of fire in the furnace still. Otten complete to Chris Miller. And Miller has come alive.
He sure has. He has stepped it up. He made that key block on Soward's touchdown. And he started to come alive himself.
Concentration etched on the countenance of Chris Miller. 3 receptions, 40 yards, an average of a little over 13 per. The cousin of Keyshawn Johnson telling me a couple of weeks ago he's trying to, quote, As they say in Afro-American jargon, represent. 10:20 to play in the third quarter. Sermon's in motion. Dancing through the line is DeLon Washington. And Washington is brought down at the 45. He's run 10 times today for 41 yards.
Let's watch that right tackle. Travis Claridge coming across on the counter tray. He gets the kick out block. Ken Bowen turns it upfield. Doesn't have anybody to block. He passed up the safety on that play. Actually could have turned it outside and made the block. That's where a tackle has to be a running back. And it's very difficult for a guy that's 320 pounds to read a hole and find out who he has to block.
Unless you're incredibly nimble, i.e. Orlando Pace. 9:57 to play in the period. Sean Walters. And now John Spagnuolo, since working out of some danger deep in their own zone, USC's offense has withstood that momentum and the challenge by UCLA.
Well, every part of every football game and every season is filled with adversity. There's Rocky Long just shaking his head, the defensive coordinator. He knew he had the Trojans way back in their own territory. But as I said, the Trojans overcame the adversity of the moment. They hit Danny Farmer with a big touchdown pass. Things are starting to turn against them with the big sack, almost a safety, and they come out of it, and now they're getting close to scoring position.
John, they were 2nd and 29 from their own 1 at one point. Sermons, the fullback. Rodney Sermons down to the 35-yard line, a 10-yard pickup. That Rodney is getting a lot of respect.
This has turned into a statement drive right now. You weather some of those storms, you come back. They use the pass to get out of difficult field position, and now they're using the running plays, trying to beat up on this defensive line that's pretty depleted by injuries for the Bruins.
9:36 remaining in the period. Sermon's in motion, the toss to the short side, Walters. And they are colliding down on the field. Walters tackled by Abdul McCullough, the strong safety. Sean Walters out of Texas, 6 feet, 225, a senior. A look high above from the blimp, the Goodyear blimp, down on the Rose Bowl. 2nd down and 4 for USC. The nose of the ball just across the 30-yard line. Sermons diving over the pile down to the 27-yard line. Rodney Sermons, an interesting story and a portrait in perseverance for USC. Here's a guy who throughout his career, he's just a junior, he's been moved around, playing on defense, playing tailback, playing fullback. He's been a runner, and now his role mainly, John, as we pointed out earlier, is as a receiver. 3rd down and 2 for USC. 8:15 to play in the third quarter. They run the counter, Sean Walters. They move the chains again. 1st down, Trojans. And this is what tailback U is really all about. Last few plays. Running the ball effectively, that time over the left side. Ward and Williams making the tackle for the Bruins. Walters now coming out for a well-deserved rest.
Yeah, Walters is a guy who was complaining about not getting enough carries, but there's been 4 different running backs here this year. DeLon Washington, Sermons, Lavelle Woods have all played that position because of the various suspensions. And there Brad Ott uses the hard count. Looks like they drew the Bruins off. They work on this in practice. And Jonathan Heimbach, the center, just snaps it back. Travis Claridge, number 71, helps to sprint. Right here coming across. Here's the guy who says, true freshman. He plays with a mean streak. I saw him in the game against Stanford on the 3rd play of the game, rip the nose tackle's helmet off and spike it down on the ground. He gets after people. He's the first true freshman to play since Brad Buddy way back in 1976.
Was that nose tackle's head still in the helmet?
I wasn't sure. I didn't check.
1st and 5. They toss to the short side of the field. Old student body left that time. DeLon Washington stopped right near the line of scrimmage by Abdul McCullough, number 9. Clock running with 7:25 to play in the third quarter. Well, tomorrow at 1 Eastern, noon Central and Pacific on ABC Sports. Don't miss the season finale of women's tennis. Steffi Graf will play Martina Hingis in the singles final of the Chase Championships. Then 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific, the LPGA Tour's top money winners battle in the Vegas desert. It's the ITT LPGA Tour Championship. Second down and 5, backs out of the eye, 2 tights and 2 wides. And John Allred, I think, couldn't hear the call, John. Maybe wanted to know what was going on and ended up causing a flag.
No, actually, he's just doing a cutoff block. You can look at it right here. He's going to try and seal because the play's going the other way. He just left a step early. Now he's kind of rubbing up against his right tackle there. Now, John Allred is a guy that this team has sorely missed. There's Keith Burns. He's the defensive coordinator. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Mike Barry, the offensive line coach, who is a guy, 2 players on this team, Chris Breimer and the right guard we talked about, Travis Claridge, came to this school to be with Mike Barry because he's got such a great reputation as a line coach. But John Allred is a guy who lends a lot to this running game. He's a guy they missed when he was injured for the last 2 games.
Blocking at the tight end, so invaluable, as is the receiving of Chris Miller today. Number 2 has really responded to the challenge. Chris Miller has been vilified and criticized of late, but today he's playing a great ball game. 4 catches for 46 yards.
Well, you got hit. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it right here. Stop it right there. There's the mouthpiece. He got hit so hard. That mouthpiece came flying out. It reminds me of Mike Singletary. Hope there were no Singletary. They used to say the contact lenses would pop out of his eyes when he'd hit people.
Sermon's in motion, 3rd and 3. Woods breaks a tackle. It's going to be close. Lavelle Woods on 3rd and 3, brought down by Sean Williams.
And here's John Allred running a similar type play. He's trying to cut off inside. He's working there against Weldon Ford. You can see the strength that he has cutting back inside. But what a great individual effort by the running back on that play.
Let's go down to Dean.
Tight end university is one of the things this place is known for. Well, they have a lot of players. Since 1960, all but 5 USC starters have played in the NFL. There's a list of them. Some outstanding ones up there. Fred Cornwell. You probably know a lot. Let's see. Spags, where were you?
Charlie Young.
Huh? You were at Yale at the
I played with Hoagie Brenner. He was part of my age.
There you go.
1st and 10 into the end zone, and the tight end couldn't hang on to it this time. John Allred, the man we were just referring to, couldn't hang on.
Allred working one-on-one. It looked like he's working on Phillip Ward. It's been a long drive. He releases inside. Actually, it's Brian Wilmer, number 53. Oh, yeah. Who comes over, kind of holds him up a little bit. And it looked like Sean Williams came over and knocked the ball away. So good coverage. Allred getting a lot of attention inside and outside. But this is a long drive. 14 plays, 68 yards. But it really is more like 98 yards because of a couple of losses.
Yeah, good point. 2nd down, Otten into the end zone. Touchdown Trojans. Number 2, the deuce on the loose. Miller. Adam Abrams in for the extra point. UCLA came out with a touchdown on their first possession of the half. And USC counters 15 plays, 80 yards, 7:35 on the clock. Chris Miller, how do you like it? Brad Otten has got it like that. We'll be right back. High above the Rose Bowl, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle has been providing these aerial pictures. Goodyear Blimps travel over 100,000 miles every year, covering major sporting events. John Spagnuolo, that's as many miles as you and I put on in the college football season, huh?
It is. We're up there with the Blimp, that's for sure. I wonder if they get frequent flyer miles up there.
We are at a tremendous facility here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Capacity over 100,000. And today they were expecting a crowd over 80,000. Sounds like it, that's for sure. David Bell kicking off for the Trojans. Goes into the end zone where Jim McElroy takes a knee. And Dean Blevins has more on facility talk.
Yeah, you know, Mark, it's easy to hear the name USC and hear the band and see the crowds and think that the football factory at USC has everything. But really, the facilities are second rate at best. John Robinson knows that. In fact, he said as much earlier this week when they were talking about speculation over his job security. He challenged the supporters to step up and provide some money. You know, the biggest shortcoming is their practice field. It is small. There's not much grass. They don't have any tarp out there, and they just recently got lighting. And guys, we see facilities week in, week out, and there are a lot better facilities outside the Pac-10 conference than this.
Yeah, that's half the battle. Thanks, Dean. They faked the reverse.
Well, you know, just to elaborate on that point, too, you know, the football field is about one football field and maybe a third of another field, and they share that with the women's soccer team. So I went over to practice the other day. It was raining. They were inside an intramural gym, which I was kind of surprised to see. Now, I know they don't go indoors much here because the weather's so nice, but you kind of expect to see a little bit more than that for a big-time program like this. You go to the Southeast Conference, and they have shrines and monuments to their football teams.
Temples.
Yeah, they really do.
They give it to the fullback on second and short. Craig Walendi taking it up the middle. And he is stopped short of the first down at about the 28-yard line with 4:30 remaining now in the third quarter. The UCLA Bruins trailing 31-14. An introspective and pensive Bob Toledo in his first game as head coach at UCLA against USC. He's 5-0 in this series, 3-0 on the USC side of the ledger, 2-0 as an offensive coordinator for UCLA. He told us earlier he didn't want to be the first coach to lose in the streak. 3rd and 1. Hicks running outside, has the first down, corralled and brought down at the 34 by Grant Pearsall, number 43, the strong safety.
Great individual effort by Hicks there. Two people had a shot at him. Matt Kennelly looks like he has a first shot at him, number 92, and then it looks like McCutcheon comes up right there, and it's still behind the line of scrimmage. McCutcheon does not get through the high-stepping Skip Hicks, and Hicks makes that first down largely on his own individual effort.
Hicks, one of the top scorers in the conference, and today averaging 4.3 yards per pop.
Yeah, we saw him break that record, too, in points per game. He has 18 touchdowns, broke J.J. Stokes' record, and Gaston Green.
McNown sacked back in the 28, put it on the ground, but UCLA fortunate to get it back. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Cade McNown had the ball out there. Almost paid the price.
Chad Sauter came over the left guard, but this ball's out. He's in trouble. And it gets knocked away by Russell. He was trying to tuck it away, and Russell got his hand on it. And alert Chad Sauter comes over and falls on the football. That could have been disastrous for the Bruins.
It is 2nd down and 13. McNown gets rid of it. USC protesting for grounding. They don't get it.
Well, he's trying to get a middle screen off to Keith Brown, his tailback. And as that play was covered by everybody, McNown, now watch number 1. He's going to step up, make a block, the running back. But now he gets bumped around inside, and McNown realizes he doesn't have a play and just throws it at the feet of his tailback, Keith Brown. So it's not intentional grounding, and it's an alert play by McNown.
John, 3rd and 13 now. McNown living on the edge. Gets to the corner. Fires complete for a first down at the 44-yard line to Jim McElroy. The 5'10", 154-pound junior picking up 15 yards on the play.
Tell you one thing, I mean, I'm watching this game, and it's great to be a part of a rivalry like this, Mark. There's no quitting either side. I mean, you know, both teams came out with great drives in the second half, and now UCLA's coming back again, and I mean, these guys are really putting it all on the line. It's an impressive display of emotional play here by both teams.
Yeah, John, in the second half, both teams offensively have been picture perfect. Little waggle action. They look for the throwback, and McNown pegged one of his offensive linemen right in the head, and a flag down. Sean Gully, the starting right guard, almost, he got that football in his ear hole.
Well, you know, this penalty has nothing to do with intent. The fact that he hit Gully with the football, even though Skip Hicks was on the other side of Gully, is the reason they're going to get called with intentional grounding.
Touching, ball touched, an ineligible receiver. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and a loss of down. Second down.
Now watch this. Again, they're trying to run a little play off the waggle action. See, Hicks is going to get the ball back. And McNown sets it up. He's trying to find Hicks. Gully's down on the ground. And he just hits him right in the head. And look at the play was set up. That's got to be the worst sound he's ever heard on a football field, is that ball doinking off his helmet. Poor Sean Gully.
His ear hole's a little bigger after that one. 2:55 to play in the third quarter. McNown with time. Sacked back at the 33-yard line, the third sack of the afternoon. Aaron Williams, number 57, doing the honors along with Cedric Jefferson.
Aaron Williams goes one-on-one with Skip Hicks. See, 57. Actually, that's Walenda, the fullback, that does the job of cutting him down. Doesn't get him quite down on the ground. Tries to throw at him. But Williams does a good job of keeping his feet, getting off the block, and making the sack. That's where a fullback's got to step up and be physical on the blitz pickup.
Third down and 21.
He might have Farmer again.
Oh, he had Farmer wide open, but hits McElroy. McElroy down to the 13-yard line. A 53-yard pickup and a Bruin first down for number 85.
You and I both saw that. Farmer was doing a little shake move going downfield. They almost had him again, but instead McNown goes underneath to McElroy.
McElroy had 2 catches for 68 yards in last year's win against USC, and a big one here.
Well, it sure was. And there's Farmer, who was farther downfield, and he had an opportunity to hit him as well.
1:42 to play in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from the 13 for the Bruins. Hicks drilled back at the 17-yard line. Sammy Knight and Mark Pisano.
McNown had a lot of time. This is the big play on the reception to McElroy. Now see Farmer right there trying to go downfield. He was to the right of your screen, but instead he goes to McElroy. Gets the first down and almost squishes himself through there for a touchdown. I mean, boy, what a great second half. Offensive, just throwing these knockout punches at one another.
Backside of the eye on 2nd and 13. McNown has a man open. Complete at the 10-yard line. Mike Grieve, number 88, brought down by Grant Pearsall at the 10. They've got to get to the 4 for the first down. UCLA has mixed up the run and the pass nicely here in the second half.
They sure have. And Cade McNown, again, remember the middle screen play? He didn't force it. He's not making mistakes on this drive. And he's converted some very key third downs along the way.
Overall, UCLA 28 passes, 26 rushes. The backs are split. They blitz. McNown escapes for a touchdown.
Second touchdown today by Cade McNown. One by design, one on a scramble.
Cade McNown is extremely slippery. The extra point attempt from the toe of Bjorn Merton is good. And UCLA has chopped that lead to 10. Cade McNown can't find anybody. So what do? You do it yourself. We'll be right back.
Michigan State and Penn State, the Nittany Lions trying to nail down a berth in the Alliance. Dwayne Goldborn takes off 34 yards, and Michigan State takes a 19-14 lead. Two-point conversion, no good, but my partner is getting nervous, Mark.
Yeah, I see beads of sweat collecting on his brow right now. UCLA scoring a touchdown, cutting the lead to 31-21 for the Trojans. Greg Andrusik set to kick off. His kicks have gone into the end zone with regularity, as does this one. Soward watches it go through the end zone. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. And Burger King. Man, you can get your burger's worth. John Spagnuolo, take us to school.
Oh, sure. Watch this. First, I want you to watch Chris Ferris here, the left tackle. Watch him the entire play. McNown tries to drop back. He wants to go across the field back, and he realizes nothing's there with the blitz. Look at Ferris. Doesn't really do anything until the very end. Then he throws a flipper, and he can go on the sidelines and tell all his buddies, yeah, I threw the key block there that sprung the quarterback for a touchdown. Ferris is in the film school here. He idolizes Steven Spielberg.
Well, it hasn't been a bit of a horror show for UCLA today, but it's getting better. The defense coming up with a big play that time on Washington. Ford and McGee making the tackle. And that's the end of the third quarter. John Robinson got support from the school president. He is yet to beat UCLA. They're on the verge. They're getting closer. We'll return with more action between USC and UCLA after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Tomorrow night on ABC, an hour of America's Funniest Home Videos, followed by the most outrageous hour of the week. Drew Casey and Mimi guest on Lois and Clark, and this one you won't believe. Then Wings Crystal Bernard stars in the world premiere of Dying to Be Perfect, the Ellen Hart Pena story. And speaking of Lois and Clark and Superman, R.J. Soward, that pass incomplete, intended for Chris Miller, who caught a touchdown on the Trojans' last possession.
Quite an offensive display in the third quarter of this football game. You know, I was just checking. Both teams converted all of their third down situations. USC had the ball once. They went 3 for 3 on third down, scored a touchdown. UCLA scored twice, going 5 for 5 on third down conversions. Both offenses are unstoppable. And UCLA, you can see with total yards now, very close to USC with 320 to 347. McNown in the third quarter alone threw for 141 yards.
Martin just gets rid of it, but incomplete. And they'll have to punt. Let's go to John Saunders in New York.
All right, Mark, Penn State and Michigan State. We showed you that the Spartans have taken the lead. Curtis Enos, 32 yards on this run. It sets up a 1-yard touchdown by Aaron Harris. And then they go for the 2-point conversion for the 3-point lead. Joe Jaravicius hauls in the passes. It's tipped up in the air. And right now it's a 22-19 lead for the Nittany Lions. Mark.
A Blackledge-esque play by Wally Richardson that time, huh? But speaking of quarterbacks, Brad Otten was shaken up on that last play, and he remains on the turf. Here's a look at what happened.
Brad Otten has been certainly taking his share of licks this year. And you can see Weldon Ford bearing down, backside, helmet into the shoulder. It stays right with him and buries him into the turf. Gets up and uses his face a little bit to get up, but Otten is really hurt. Now here's a guy who I think in difficult situations this year with 2 new tackles, that would look like a blown assignment where somebody doesn't pick up the blitz. He's a guy that stood tall in that pocket this year, but he looks like he's very, very uncomfortable. It almost looks like he hurt his sternum. It's in the middle of his chest with that hit.
Yeah, if you're a USC fan, you have to hope that he returns. You saw his numbers, 12 for 22, 273 yards, and 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, you can see Rome Douglas, 78, in pursuit. That was a stunt that he didn't pick up, and he just got driven into the turf there. by Weldon Ford. And you know, you have to wonder when you lead with that helmet, the top of the helmet, you can get called for a personal foul for spearing. That was very close.
That's a fine line. 14:50 to play, just underway in the period. And this is a heck of a punt. Wren got hold of a great punt. He bailed them out. Folks, I'm talking about 61 yards. Anything in the air that long should have to file a flight plan. USC by 10 when we come back. Well, in the third quarter, UCLA's offense was hitting on all cylinders. They put points on the board and they moved the ball. They trailed by 10 with the ball. This is their first opportunity offensively in the period. And this is Skip Hicks busting through the line, unyielding, still on his feet, brought down to the 43. Let's check in with John Saunders, who has the play of the day.
Mark, you're right indeed. The Burger King College Football Play of the Day from the game of the day. First possession of the second half, Brian Griese to tie Streets, and he sees daylight. The only touchdown of the game, 69 yards, as Michigan knocks off Ohio State 13-9, and that is your Burger King College Football Play of the Day.
Hey, Mark, I wonder if Bob Griese gets to pick those plays. The father of Brian Griese.
There you go. The toss to the short side of the field. Skip Hicks. John Saunders moments ago saying that was the game of the day, Ohio State, Michigan. I think I could find about 90,000 people here at the Rose Bowl that might disagree with him slightly. And Brad Otten is on the sideline, shaking up. Dean Blevins, what's up?
Well, guys, I haven't gotten confirmation. Come back after this play.
They got him with the swinging gate. They got everybody right there. The swinging guy. I mean, come on. Come on, Toledo.
That's a signature play of Bob Toledo. He'll run a play to the sideline, and then someone will walk back to the ball and casually flip it. Here's how it happens.
There it is. Now, look at the defense for USC. You get the lineup. Everybody's on the line. They're where they should be. They go swinging gate, and it looks like they're going to go throwback. Not happy with one deception in one play. They went out a wrinkle off a deception play. You got to be kidding. Toledo's doing it all today, isn't it?
Don't blink. 3rd and 5, McNown. McNown better not blink either. Sacked for the 4th time today. Let's go back down to Dean.
Doctor. Guys, can't get a confirmation on whether Brad will return, but certainly you're looking at what I'm looking at standing here right beside him, and it appears he will not go back in. His ribs in the left side of the rib cage seem to be extremely tender. He's got ice on it. He is very upset. He tried to throw the football a moment ago, and he experienced a great deal of pain. And my guess is he's not coming, and Koffler will be the quarterback.
You know, my thought is, Dean, when he hit the ground, that's when that rib has been hurt. Because he hit awfully hard.
It's the type of twist and turn that can swing the fortunes of a team. And Saylor gets off a great punt for UCLA with the wind in his face. 55 yards. And here's a look at the big hit on Otten, the one that could put him out of the game for the rest of the day.
Right there, the impact on the ground is what may have hurt that rib area, not so much the initial hit.
So while Otten watches, Koffler becomes the man. We'll be right back. USC with the football with 12:15 remaining in the 4th quarter. They lead 31-21. Matt Koffler, number 13, is the new quarterback. Brad Otten is out of the game, shaken up. Sean Walters brought down about 3 yards short of the first down. Walters tackled by Abdul McCullough. Well, tomorrow at 1 Eastern, noon Central and Pacific on ABC. Don't miss the season finale of women's tennis. Steffi Graf against Martina Hingis in the Chase Championships. Then 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific. The LPGA's Tour Top Money Winners battle. ITT LPGA Tour Championship. That's tomorrow on ABC Sports. You see the starting times. 2nd down and 3rd. Koffler is just 5 of 9 on the season. He hasn't thrown a lot.
Oh, he might have taken too much time there. That's a cardinal mistake. With only 3 yards to go, 2nd and 3. Obviously, you want to keep Koffler out of known situations, obvious passing situations. He's 5 for 9 on the year, 156 yards. He's got 1 touchdown, and that was a 97-yarder to who else? R.J. Soward against Illinois. So at least he knows who to throw to.
Yeah, good choice. Koffler says of Robinson says of Soward that he had a great spring and clearly won the backup job, although he hadn't had many opportunities. He is the kind of player who can go in a game and compete effectively. He's a smart player. He's a great team member and a leader on the squad, and he's one of the team's most popular players, as is number 18, Soward, this afternoon.
Koffler was a little upset that he had to compete for that 2nd job. He thought it was his, but in the end, it made him a better football player.
He's a public administration major, and right now, he is administering to the offense. Going up top for who else? No, it's not Soward. Yes, it is. Superman's on the loose again. Touchdown.
Well, he knows what receiver to go to.
You had to know he'd be looking for number 18. This is a coronation for number 18. A coming out party for R.J. Soward. The R stands for Rodney. The R stands for running.
5 catches, 253 yards today for R.J. Soward. And what did we say? Koffler knew who to throw to in this offense.
Abrams with the extra point.
That is an all-time Trojan record.
And it's good. USC with a 38-21 lead. R.J. Soward, man, I'm telling you, this guy is faster than gossip. Trojans on the verge of snapping that losing streak, and the new quarterback just loves it. The Rose Bowl today in Pasadena belongs to one man and one man only. Number 18, R.J. Soward.
He scared our cameraman, John, there.
Hey, 5 years.
Well, we got 11:06 to play, R.J., but you could be right.
Hey, he can talk the talk because he can walk the walk.
Oh, boy. It's more like running instead of walking. McElroy brought down at the 24-yard line. Soward with a USC single-game record, John Spagnuolo.
Yeah, Koffler, remember there was a penalty, 2nd and 8 situation, but he knows how to go to Soward, and the cornerback fell down on the play. There's a little jostling for position. I can't get the number. It looked like it might be number 3. That's Javelin Guidry, one-on-one and R.J. Soward, but Soward has owned this day, has owned this football game. This is his game.
An incredible, a compelling performance, an inspiring performance from Soward. Backside of the eye. Time for UCLA to get busy, and they do, completing the pass to the 44-yard line. That's Jim McElroy, who up to this point is perfect against USC. A pickup of 19 yards for Cade McNown on the toss.
A 15-yard gain on the
10:48 to play in the 4th quarter.
Stanford 42, Cal 21. Stanford getting that 6th win and may make a bowl.
Our producer Kim Belton, Stanford grad, a little happy about that. Out to the 48-yard line is Skip Hicks, brought down by number 9, Sammy Knight. About 5 yards short of the first down at the 48. Skip Hicks had a chance to meet his mother and father a couple of years ago when they came out to visit Los Angeles and the campus of UCLA. Nice people. No doubt watching back in Wichita Falls, Texas. Hicks out of Burke Burnett High School. He's the deep back in the eye on 2nd down and 6. McNown Complete for the first down at the 42-yard line. McElroy working on Daylon McCutcheon, who picks up 10 yards. McElroy does, and a first down. McElroy, number 85, 6 catches, John, for 123 yards.
Yeah, watch him there at the top of the screen. I mean, this is where a quarterback doesn't give you a great ball, but you come back and you make a terrific play. That's what McElroy did right there. I mean, that ball was not well thrown, but that's where you make your quarterback look good.
You know, if R.J. Soward wasn't having such a spectacular, inordinate day, McElroy's numbers would look that much bigger. But they pale in comparison. Skip hits. Near a first down at the 32-yard line. Grant Pearsall making the tackle.
So the Bruins are like one of these fires you get in Southern California. It doesn't quite go out no matter what you try to do. They have received a lot of shots in this game. Big plays from USC, but they keep playing and playing. Especially offensively. There's no quit in this team.
They've shown a lot of resilience. 9:15 to play in the fourth quarter. Backside of the eye. McNown to pass. Almost intercepted by the strong safety, Grant Pearsall, number 43, intended for Farmer. And today, Keith Burns, the defensive coordinator, has to be pleased with the performance of his defense.
You know, he said something to us in our call last week where he said, McNown is my kind of quarterback. He scares the dickens out of me. Mobile, and look at what McNown's done today. He scrambled twice for touchdowns. One was a design play on a draw. Came here from being a defensive backfield coach at Rice.
Trips right formation on 2nd and 10. Just as you said, John Spagnuolo, McNown scares the dickens out of defenses. That time picking up about 6 yards. Sammy Knight making the tackle on the play. It'll be 3rd down, about 4 to go for Cade McNown in the Bruin offense.
You know what, though, McNown, didn't he look a little leg weary on that run? I mean, just didn't have the kind of pop that he's had earlier in the game. Drops back, and he's got a lot of speed as Sammy Knight gets a run out of him. It just looks like doesn't quite have the leg speed he had earlier in this game, and why should he? I mean, he's been beat up and worn down.
The mind was willing on that play, but the body wasn't. Movement up front. McNown took a knee, sensing the contact up front.
And Matt Kenley jumped off. That's going to be a cheap first down for UCLA.
Offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
We have an abundance of college football coming up, folks, during the Thanksgiving holiday. Friday, A&M against Texas at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Colorado at Nebraska in another Big 12 conference clash. 2 important ones. Then next Saturday, the next day, 9 a.m. Pacific, Florida against Florida State down in Tallahassee. And then Notre Dame against USC. Lou Holtz against John Robinson. Holtz and Notre Dame, a press conference tomorrow at noon. McNown. It's ruled incomplete. The catch was made by Eric Scott, but he couldn't get a foot in bounds. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Eric Scott working one-on-one here. And that ball is on the short side of the field. See him, he's just outside the numbers. He needs to take this in just a little bit more as he breaks back out on Prentice Hall, number 14. Can't quite stay on the ground. If you get near the sideline, you try not to leap up in the air. And this is how quarterback gets worn out. And that is going to be a personal foul against Chris Claiborne.
Wow.
A mistake by the true freshman. Tackling McNown up high. That's the old clothesline. They don't do that anymore, do they?
He almost decapitated him. Wow.
Claiborne has played very well this year as a true freshman. Started from the 3rd game on. But that's a mistake that he should not make. And allows UCLA now, they have the ball on the 10-yard line, 1st and goal.
1st and goal it is. Very good motion. McNown They try to hit the corner. They complete the pass down to the 5-yard line to Dan Farmer, the team's leading receiver. Brian Kelly, the free safety, providing the coverage. Farmer today, 5 receptions, a total of 81 yards. And it's 2nd down and goal. They cut the distance in half to the goal line at the 5.
Goal, UCLA.
7:26 remaining in the 4th quarter. In this, the 66th edition of UCLA against USC. A series that dates back to 1929, back in the days of leather helmets. The draw play goes nowhere. Skip Hicks suffocated and brought down for a loss of about 3 by Sammy Knight. You have to be impressed with the play of number 9 this afternoon. The 6'1", 210-pound senior. He's been a valuable player defensively, maybe the most valuable defensively for USC, John. Big interception for a touchdown early in the game helped set the tone for the men of Troy. His leadership is irreplaceable on defense. 6:38 to play in the 4th. Grebe in motion. And flags down on the play.
Before the snap, delay of game. 5-yard penalty, till 3rd down.
Not what Coach Toledo wanted to see happen at this part of the field. Time permitting, stay tuned, folks, for the 30 Carmel post-game report. Scores and highlights from across the country. The score right here, 38-21, with 6:29 to play. Garnet and Gold ruling so far. Third and goal. McNown. Incomplete. Incomplete, and that is as close as it gets.
You know, it really doesn't matter. Even if he did catch it in bounds, there was a holding play in the interior part of the line.
James McElroy made a heck of a catch, but it was ruled incomplete. He was working on Daylon McCutcheon as we get the call.
Couple receptions today. Here's McElroy working on McCutcheon, as you said. And let's just see if he gets his feet in or not. Oh yeah, you know that he looked like he's in. Now it's a moot point, but at least it would have bought them another down. Hold it there a second. You can see the holding right in the middle there as Darrell Russell gets through, and he's held by the left guard Chad Sutter. And we'll get another look and see if his foot does stay in. See that left foot right? Oh my goodness, that is in by at least a half a foot. And that's a size 12 foot, I might add. Yeah, that's unfortunate because they ruled that out of bounds, which they did. It's 4th down, but it's actually repeating the down at 3rd down, so they get another shot at it.
A look from our Goodyear blimp down on the Rose Bowl.
Had there not been holding, we'd have ourselves a major controversy right now.
3rd and goal. McNown on the post, catchable, but incomplete for McElroy. And it'll be 4th down. His vision may have been stopped a little bit, impaired a little bit by Brian Kelly.
Yeah, McElroy's the go-to guy here for McNown. Works upfield, there's a lot of time, makes a little corner move, come back underneath to Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly makes a move on the football. It's a difficult catch to make. Very difficult trying to catch it over your shoulder like that downfield, but McNown put the ball at or near where it had to be for the completion.
John, in comes Bjorn Merton to attempt a field goal from 46. He missed earlier from 52, but he had the leg, and this one is between the pipes.
This is good.
So they narrow the USC lead to 38-24. Bob Toledo still with hopes.
Quite a day for the Big Ten. Michigan State and Penn State, another great game. It was tied when Curtis Enos goes in from 3 yards out. He has 147 yards rushing on the day, and now a touchdown lead with 8.5 to go. We'll keep you up to date. Back to you, Mark.
Those two schools, of course, competing for the land grant trophy. Michigan State and Penn State, the original land grant institutions in this country. Greg Andrusik set to kick off. They kick it deep. USC expecting the onside kick. Miller pinned back at the 8-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins, who has a word on the future.
Well, guys, USC loses its top two quarterbacks in Otten and Koffler, but the offense actually should be better next year. They're going to have an older team. They obviously have a future superstar in Soward. Mike Riley, the offensive coordinator, tells me he'll let 3 quarterbacks compete. Number 4, John Fox, is a redshirt freshman, the best pure drop back passer. Mike Van Raphorst, they call him the smartest quarterback Riley's seen. He's a true freshman, and he is redshirting, or excuse me, he's a true freshman, injured right now actually. And Quincy Woods is a multiple threat, a dual threat guy, run pass, and he's another redshirt freshman. So they have a chance to be really good offensively.
All right, Dean, right now at this time in the present, the man is Matt Koffler, who hands off to Sean Walters, tackled by Cobbs on the play. It'll be second down, about 8. The clock now becoming a factor for the Bruins. Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. This game is a lot for both programs. It's about enthronement, enshrinement, bragging rights. The winners hold those rights for another year. The losers have to duck around the corner and hide. Sean Walters with nowhere to hide on that play. Weldon Ford, number 93, making the tackle with 5:22 to play in the 4th quarter.
Keep in mind now the Bruins have to score twice. They were down 17. That's why they kicked that field goal. They had to score 3 times in any form or fashion. Now they're looking at a touchdown 2-point conversion and then a field goal because they're down. Well, they're down 14 in this game, so they're looking at 2 touchdowns. I'm sorry, but they needed to get that score when they were down 17. They have to hold here, though, Mark.
Yeah, John, UCLA
have to hold here and get that ball back.
UCLA had 2nd and goal from the 5. Koffler, the screen. Woods did a good job to stay on his feet, but he's brought down at the 11-yard line, and USC will have to punt. Jeff Ruckman making the stop for the Bruins on the play. And now UCLA will elect to stop the clock and burn one of its 3 timeouts. They now have 2 remaining with 4:35 to play in the 4th quarter. The Bruins trailing by 14 points. What a great shot provided by our Goodyear blimp today. The college football on ABC Sports brought to you by Chrysler and the cab forward sedan of Chrysler. What's new in your world? Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. And Marriott Hotels, Resorts and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. I'm Mark Jones along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California on a resplendent Saturday afternoon. And you talk about what a tangled web we all weave in the family ties here. Toledo has been on both sides of the ball. Charles White, assistant coach, former player at USC.
Under Toledo.
A line drive punt returnable. Guidry will have good field position for the Bruins. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Radio Shack. Just in case you forgot, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Well, you know, UCLA has not done a good job this year in their 2-minute offense. We saw it earlier in this game before the half. Some previous games this year. Arizona, Stanford, to mention a couple. So, you know, now this game's on the line. This is their last game of the year. They could have gotten some points before the half. Let's see how they execute this with 4 minutes, 26 seconds left in this game.
McNown still in the ball game. He's played courageously today. McNown showing the sleight of hand of a magician and the resilience of a running back.
Yeah, they're going to go to the hurry up set now.
Brought down by Claiborne, John, on that last play. Approaching 4 minutes to play in the 4th quarter now. It's 2nd down and 5 to go. Incomplete. USC is hitting today. Chris Claiborne, number 55. And when you say number 55, you think about the reputation and the honor that that number carries at USC. Junior Seau wore it. Willie McGinnis wore it. Israel Ifiani wore it. The last 3 guys to wear number 55, all in the NFL right now.
Ifiani, a 2nd rounder with the 49ers. What I'm impressed about him that you don't normally see with a freshman is that he plays very good pass defense. Drops well in the zones, understands what he's supposed to do, and you saw a great example of it right there on that play.
Yeah, he hits too. 3rd and 5. But now for Clark. He appeared to get held up a little bit by number 14, Prentice Hill. And the ball falls incomplete. It's 4th down.
Jamal Clark, I don't know if he thought he was the intended receiver. He slowed up a little bit on this play. McNown spotted him as the most likely candidate to get the football. Certainly had he thrown it up where he could go get the ball, you could see the height advantage he had over Prentice Hall, number 14.
In front of 80,644 people today here at the Rose Bowl. An aerial view. Another compelling episode of USC and UCLA. 4th down. And it's ruled complete. The Bruins convert. Wow. Mike Reed got on the turf and scooped it up. Clock stops while they move the sticks. 3:43 to play in the 4th quarter.
6'4", 240 pounds. Got down on his hands and knees, got his elbows together. It makes that critical 4th down reception to keep this drive alive.
UCLA with 2 timeouts remaining. McNown, Sammy Knight almost had his 2nd interception and looks down at Farmer disdainfully and says, not now, not today. Let's check in with John Saunders with the Michigan State update.
Mark, it continues back and forth. Todd Schultz back to the pass. 33 yards, he finds Najee Carter, and that gets it down to the 1-yard line. And from there, Todd Schultz punches this across, and they go for the extra point, not for the 2. They tie it with 6 minutes remaining. Time permitting, we will have bonus coverage of this game. Mark.
All right, John, any guy named Todd you know can play quarterback. 2nd down and 10, McNown. Open, complete, 1st down at the 18-yard line. Chalk it up for number 85. He's played well today. Jim McElroy, tackled by McCutcheon. He's got 7 catches for 134 yards.
1st down, UCLA.
Going with the hurry-up offense, the nose of the ball at the 18. 1st and 10, 3:10 to play in the 4th. Skip Hicks near the 1st down marker at the 10-yard line, stopping the clock with 3:07 to play, working on McCutcheon, who pushes him out of bounds.
Well, after not operating a good 2-minute drill before the half, I mean, they certainly are putting together a decent drive here. McNown, 25 for 40, 300 yards, 302 yards, a touchdown, an interception. He scored twice himself. He's having himself quite an afternoon. But if they get the football into the end zone with 2 timeouts left, they can either kick deep or onside kick. We'll have to see how much clock they burn trying to get in now.
Got to watch it closely. Split backs this time. McNown, complete. He didn't make it in. Hicks stopped about a foot shy of the end zone.
Well, I don't know where that football is, but from that vantage point, he certainly looks like he got in the end zone.
Yeah. Clock stops with 3 minutes to play while they move the chains for the 1st down.
Skip Hicks coming in an angle pattern. See a 42 on the right side of your screen. He gets the ball. He gets hit a couple of times first, but the strength and the leg drive, no, it's a good call. He slid into the end zone. An accurate call by the officials.
Backs out of the eye on 1st and goal. Touchdown Bruins. Keith Brown. The lead is now down to 8 points. Bob Toledo in his 1st game as head coach against USC. pacing nervously. John, they elect to go for 1 as opposed to 2. Bjorn Merton with the extra point.
Well, they could tie it up with another touchdown and extra point. I had a little trouble with that math a couple minutes ago myself.
Ye of the Ivy League education too, huh? That drive by Bob Toledo's crew used only 1:37 on the clock. The Bruins hanging in, down 7. Big Thanksgiving week of football coming up on ABC's College Football. Texas A&M, Texas, Friday at 8 Pacific time a.m. Followed by Colorado, Nebraska, number 6 against number 5 for the North Division Championship in the Big 12. The next day, warm up the turkey. It's huge, it's large, it's fat. It's Florida, it's Florida State. And with Ohio State losing, the rankings could change there. Florida State move up to number 2, then Notre Dame at USC. The nightcap with your favorite libation on ABC. Greg Andrusik kicking off. They go for the onside kick. Oh! And the Bruins missed it by inches. That was a perfect bounce too, John.
They sure did. They got the bounce. It went over that first line, and they had an opportunity to pick that thing off. Aaron Rock, number 29, couldn't quite get it in his hands.
That's exactly the type of bounce that you want off of an onside kick attempt.
An excellent job. You want to get a couple of bounces. There it is right there. Boom. Right over Bastianelli. And Rock just, boy, that thing just kicked up in the air, and he couldn't quite get his hands on it.
So now, with USC having 3 timeouts, UCLA 2 timeouts remaining, the spotlight falls squarely on the quarterback, Matt Koffler, to move the ball and burn the clock. Soward. He has been a threat all day long. Down to the 47-yard line. Picks up 7 yards. It'll be second and about 3 to go. He has 6 receptions today for 260 yards. Is that legal, I ask you?
You know, 3 more yards and he breaks J.J. Stokes' record in this football game with 263 yards. UCLA, the great receiver, now with the 49ers. But I'm surprised that USC threw on first down. Shows a lot of confidence in Koffler,
who came in for relief of Brad Otten. This time they run it down to the 40-yard line. Number 5, Rodney Sermons. Anthony Cobbs making the tackle. A USC Trojan first down, and they have victory within their grasp.
It's a big first down for the Trojans. You're right, Mark. I would say right after this play is where UCLA has to take its second timeout, and then the play after that, take yet another timeout and hope they can hold on third down.
Bragging rights so important to these student athletes. They bump into each other on the beaches, at the malls, at the swap meet, at the clubs,
at the bank.
At the bank too. Sermons running it down to the 40-yard line.
Travis Kerskey on the stop.
Travis Kerskey making the stop. 1:37 to play here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. We have been treated to a compelling game this afternoon. Coordinating producer of ABC's College Football, Bob Goodrich. Associate coordinating producer, Jim Ressler. Today's game produced by Kim Belton, Stanford grad. Directed by Steve Bond.
Boom, boom, the driver. Mr. Accident Man.
College Football Today produced by Charles Copland. College Football Today directed by Calvin Haywood. College Football Today technical director, Karen Ogle. Our New York remote coordinator, Bruce Clark. Our TD, technical director and TV talk, Rich Gelber. Our associate director, Phil Byrne. Our production manager, Beth Giuliani. Our technical manager, Les Weiss. Assistants to the producer, Special K, Kevin Miller and Dale Ball. Our stat man, Roger Riley. And our spotter, Eagle Eye, Bill Breslin. Our computer stat man, Noah Scheinman. And our sideline coordinator, Dave Hatter. And our technical director today, Mike Blazo. The backside of the eye with 1:37 to play in the fourth quarter. The give is who put it on the ground. And UCLA has it.
And there's a flag on the play, too. Might have been a personal foul. Out of bounds. Kusante Abdul-Salam picked up the football. I could have sworn I heard a whistle, though.
That's what I heard, too,
I heard
John.
a whistle when that ball was on the ground.
Somewhere down on the field, a whistle went off. But UCLA's offense is already on the field. The officials briefly discussing the matter, and here's the ruling.
5-yard face mask on USC on the return. 1st and 10.
An egregious error that time by Lavelle Woods. A fumble that could have pernicious consequences. One more look.
Yeah, Lavelle Woods, the ball comes out, definitely goes on the ground. You see the referee there with the whistle in his mouth. There was a whistle definitely blown. Then he backed out of the play, and Abdul-Salam picked it up.
Just when you thought it might be over.
Looks like Danwan McGee knocked that ball out. Great play by McGee.
One more chance for the Bruins. 1:26 to play. McNown. Complete to McElroy.
Oh!
Tackled at the 39-yard line. UCLA with a first down, a pickup of 17 yards, 1 timeout remaining with 1:18 to play. McElroy has been invaluable offensively for the Bruins. Hill made the tackle. Nose of the ball on the 40. McElroy, 8 catches, 151 yards.
Here's the fumble. Let's listen for the whistle. Yeah, the umpire made a mistake. If that, in fact, was his whistle that was blown, then he stepped out of the play. And frankly, not ruling the fact that the whistle had been blown was the accurate call, or the accurate no call.
Let's take one more look.
Danwan McGee comes through, number 57, strips that ball out. Hear the whistle. There's the whistle. And then Kusante Abdul-Salam picks it up, so.
No doubt it was a fumble, though.
Absolutely, it was a fumble. But a lot of times you see those plays called dead, or ruled dead because of the whistle being blown.
The Bruin offense with a resurrection of sorts. McNown out of the shotgun. Open. They got it. Unbelievable. At the 11-yard line. Rodney Lee picks up 23 yards.
Where did Rodney Lee come from? He's the only guy with fresh legs in this football game. He's the 4th flanker, 4th string flanker, and that knee hits down. He's only caught 4 passes for 6.8-yard average, and he steps in and makes the biggest play of his young career. Just a junior with only 4 catches on the year. Wow, what a play.
Unbelievable, John. From the 12, 1st and 10 with 45 seconds. And they got crossed up in their routes, it appeared. McElroy, the intended receiver. He's been the money man in the red zone.
You know, I would seriously consider here. Now, UCLA has 1 timeout left. I'd consider running a draw play. I think everybody's thinking pass right now. They can run something up there with a draw play and maybe burst it into the end zone and then use a timeout.
And there's a look at the guy that can give you an education in prestidigitation. He is a trickster. Skip Hicks. Touchdown Bruins.
There it is. Well, I think Toledo and McNown finally figured out how to run the 2-minute drill, Mark. And there it was, running the football up the middle, using that run. Here's a very critical extra point, though.
Trick play, what do you think? Not quite. Merton nails it.
You have got to be kidding.
Skip Hicks running it into the end zone to knot this game at 38. And it was set up by the fumble. Lavelle Woods fumbled it, and UCLA recovered it. Skip Hicks adding to his record. Yep.
At 18. And you know what? UCLA scored 17 points in the last 5 minutes and 33 seconds. This was turning into a yawner, a sleeper. John Robinson has got to feel sick. What's it take to win this game?
Oh, boy. John, you called it. You said it'd be a timely opportunity for the draw play up the middle, and it happened just like that.
It wasn't so much a draw, but they run right over their right guard there. Sean Gully, 61. It's a trap inside. Very effective trap play, and that uses the upfield rush of the Trojans. They're thinking pass, and that's where they came upfield, and the trap was real effective.
You talk about the competitiveness and the closeness of this game. 6 of the last 7, 12 of 16 decided by 6 points or less. In the shadows of Mount Wilson.
Boy, oh boy, USC had the football.
Huh?
They get the first down. You think this game's over. And all of a sudden, Lavelle Woods puts that football on the ground. Danwan McGee knocks it out. Kusante Abdul-Salam uses that new name of his, picks it up. I mean, come on. What's going on here?
38-38 with 39 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. They squib it to the up man. Running on the ball with 2 hands on the ball. Out to the 37-yard line. And look at that last fumble by Woods.
Yeah, Lavelle Woods. Danwan McGee beats the tackle, Rome Douglas inside. There it's stripped. No question about that. That ball's out. Abdul-Salam picks it up. Look at Abdul McCulley. He's got that thing on his wrist. He's got that broken thumb. He couldn't pick it up.
Number 13 for USC, Matt Koffler, the quarterback. Pitching in relief of Brad Otten. USC with 3 timeouts remaining.
Hey, and they have decent field position with 32 seconds left.
And where is R.J. Soward? Koffler overthrows his intended receiver, not Soward, but number 25, Mike Bastinelli. Soward went deep on the play.
You know, Soward did go deep. Puts a good move inside on Abdul-Salam. Now look at this right here. You know what? He's open. But there's a safety there. Now he kind of looks up in the air, but that safety was trying to bait that throw. I thought he was open too. I didn't see the safety come over. That would have been an interception had Koffler tried to throw the ball to R.J. Soward.
27 seconds to go. Bastinelli in motion. For Soward. And Koffler throws this one away. Clock stops with 21 seconds to play. It's 3rd and 10. Abdul-Salam in on the coverage. Koffler already hit 1 long touchdown pass to Soward in the fourth quarter.
Well, if we go to overtime now, at least USC has some experience. They, remember, went to overtime with Arizona State in that controversial overtime play where a pass by Otten in that play was, not ruled a forward pass. It was ruled a fumble, and they wound up losing that in overtime.
A very controversial game ending. Koffler on 3rd and 10 for Miller into traffic. Miller came up with it.
Oh, no.
A flag down on the play. But Miller made a circus catch.
He sure did. And it's going to go, I believe, against UCLA.
Miracle after miracle play unfolding.
It is going to go against UCLA. Mike Bastinelli was signaling they might rule that either interference or a face mask at the end of the play.
Much to the dismay of Bob Toledo.
Boy, just when you thought you've seen it all in this game, another incredible play comes out of
On
nowhere.
the play, there was interference by the defense. Since the pass was complete, the penalty declined. 1st and 10. USC timeout.
There's
USC
Miller working, and now
timeout.
this ball, he actually has to work between two defenders. Abdul Salam, right there, number 10. Actually, it looks like Miller's just trying to break it up, and he steals the football right at the very end. And everybody here saw that replay, and they're looking for an interference call against Miller. And I'll tell you what, they have a pretty good case to make. I mean, he was draped all over Abdul Salam.
Miller showing a lot of passion, ripping that ball away from the defender. One more look at it.
Credit Koffler, hey, get the ball out there, see if you can make something happen. Now Miller sees it first, works inside, but I don't see how you could call interference against UCLA. I mean, Miller was simply going for the football. Maybe you don't call it against him either, but he makes an incredible reception.
Miller standing behind Robinson there. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I ran into his cousin, Keyshawn Johnson, in New York. We're sitting together watching a basketball game. I asked him about Chris Miller, his cousin. He said, you know, Mark, he's been dropping too many footballs of late. And I've been speaking to him. He has been speaking to him. He's been giving him pep talks by the day. And Miller has elevated the level of his game today. Maybe buoyed by some confidence and some encouragement from Keyshawn.
Yeah, Trojans are just going to line up and hit a field goal here. It would be what a great redeeming moment for Chris Miller to be able to make this play and get his team in a position to win this football game right here with a field goal.
Adam Abrams will attempt a field goal.
That's the last timeout.
Now USC has two timeouts left. If I were them, I would run the ball to the middle of the field. Just run to the right a little bit, set up and kick a field goal. I mean, we've seen that before.
In light of the fact that they've already fumbled one time?
No, I think you take your quarterback, Koffler, he gets the ball and he runs about 6 yards to the right, and then he just goes down on the ground. You don't lose any yardage at all, and you got the ball in the middle of the field. I think that gives Abrams a little better opportunity to kick a ball. Now, maybe he's comfortable from the left hash. That I'm not sure about.
Well, today, Abrams has made one from 27 yards out. And here's a look at the last touchdown moments ago. Skip Hicks taking it on the trap play, right up the middle.
John Gully pulled on that play, ran it right up the middle. That got us to this point in this game, and that was like a half a game ago.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Whiz.
USC and UCLA, what a game. Bruin opponents, just 2 of 6 on the season against them.
One of those occurred earlier today.
Yeah, Abrams on the season, Adam Abrams, the place kicker, is 10 of 17. And John, they're going to run a play.
I think they're going to try and run it to the right. Or just,
11 seconds to go.
Oh, they're throwing it.
My goodness. Bustinelli, oh man!
My gosh.
You talk about trickery, unconventional wisdom, and going against popular opinion. Wow.
I'll tell you what, you know what? John Robinson is trying to write a postscript to this game with that play right there. And you know what? They had it.
For the ball game, Adam Abrams from 41 yards out. It's tied at 38. It's blocked. And we will go to overtime.
Take a break and let's start this thing all over again.
Bob Toledo's crew with a last gasp effort. Abrams has had 5 blocked now on the year. Overtime in a minute. The toss for overtime.
You want to be on defense. You want to be on defense, all right? You get to choose the end of the field.
Here's the all-important coin toss. That's John Elrod right there. Sammy Knight, the captains for USC for this game.
UCLA on defense when we come back with more action between USC and UCLA after this word and a word from our ABC stations.
USC and UCLA headed to overtime. Similar situation, Michigan State, Penn State. Brett Conway sets up from 30 yards out with the game tied at 29 apiece, and he splits the uprights, and Penn State holds on. That kick coming with about 5 seconds left. 32-29, the final. Mark.
Well, he did what Adam Abrams couldn't do, which was convert on a field goal.
That's with 5 seconds left, too. Watch the surge up front. Travis Kershke, number 98, looks like he gets a hand on it. He does. And that was a low kick by Adam Abrams. And Bob Toledo's reaction, he's ecstatic. He's going to overtime, and his team has put 17 unanswered points on the board. They're in overtime right now. There's no sudden death. Each team's going to get equal possessions. They start at the 25-yard line and go in. If the score is tied after the first one, they repeat.
Tied at 38, first play of overtime. USC with possession of the ball. UCLA electing to play defense first. That was DeLon Washington on the carry, brought down by Abdul McCullough.
Just so people understand now, USC, if they get a first down, they keep the drive alive here. And they're going to try and either kick a field goal or get the ball into the end zone. Each team gets one timeout per overtime period, but they can't carry those timeouts into the next period.
Second down and 8. Soward in motion.
He's still open.
Soward picked off.
Okay.
And now UCLA will have possession.
That's right, but not from that point. They'll start at the 25 and go in.
But there's a flag down on the far side of the field. Hold on just a minute.
Interception by the Bruins.
There's a lot of contact when Soward tried to break loose.
Penalty marker on the field.
Let's see if there's holding.
During the play, holding by the defense. It's a 10-yard penalty in the previous spot. Automatic first down.
All right, there's Soward, number 18. Now hold it right here. Stop it. See the hold right there? Go ahead, roll it from there. It looked like Sean Williams, who's in man-to-man coverage, gets called for the hold. Maybe get called for another one there, but I saw the flag come out on the right side of the field. So that turnover did not happen. And USC is still alive with the first down.
Sean Williams saying earlier, USC sent me my first letter in high school. It was a questionnaire, and I returned it to them. Never heard from them again. And I played against Sermons and McCutcheon in high school. It's like USC was saying I wasn't good enough. Koffler to pass on the blitz into the end zone. Incomplete. Sermons couldn't get a foot in bounds. Rodney Sermons made a great catch, but ran out of space in the end zone.
Yeah, he couldn't quite get the angle upfield that he needed. Abdul McCullough was in good man-to-man coverage the entire way. And let's see if, in fact, yeah, an accurate call. That foot was easily out of bounds. You know what? One thing you got to take into consideration here, we've had so much yardage in this game. These guys must be exhausted on both sides of the football. There's Brad Otten, now in street clothes, injured rib on a sack earlier in this football game by Weldon Ford.
And that man Koffler came in the second half. DeLon Washington cuts it upfield, brought down at the 7-yard line. There are a lot of sweet memories in this rivalry as Bob Toledo takes part in his first as the head coach of the Bruins. Through the ages, the names and players in this rivalry have read like a who's who of college football.
Well,
Potential
USC
bragging rights at stake.
Yep. USC with a critical situation here now. 3rd and 4 to go. They have to convert the first down in order to score a touchdown. Otherwise, they'll have to kick a field goal.
They've got to get down to the 3. Washington, there's a bad pass thrown behind him.
Yeah, it sure was. And that's one of those plays when you're a backup quarterback. Those are the kind of throws you don't get a whole lot of time to practice. And that play actually had something going. There was a blocker in front of Washington, but he couldn't make the catch.
In comes Adam Abrams, number 19, who had his last potential game-winning field goal blocked out of the hold of Jim Wren.
Well, he can drive this ball a lot higher than he did on the last one, Mark.
Johnny's had 5 blocked all year. That's a lot. This one coming from 25 yards out. Pretty sharp angle. Abrams. No problem with that one. USC takes a 3-point lead, and now the Bruins have an opportunity to match it with a field goal or better it with a touchdown.
There's Cade McNown getting some instructions from Al Borges, the offensive coordinator. McNown has been simply heroic in his efforts in this football game. First half, second half, he has thrown for 356 yards, 29 for 46. What a day, but right now they said, great day, you got to keep doing it, Cade.
This will take us nicely into our Thanksgiving football extravaganza beginning on Friday in Texas A&M and Texas at 8 a.m. Pacific time. After that, Colorado, Nebraska, another Big 12 battle for the division champion. Florida against Florida State. And then after that on Saturday, it'll be USC against Notre Dame. Skip Hicks tripped up right near the line of scrimmage at the 25-yard line. Maybe lost half a yard. Sammy Knight. You talk about heroes on the day. You talk about yeoman efforts. You talk about Sammy Knight, number 9. A look from the Goodyear blimp high above. And that's the second half of our doubleheader on Saturday.
Second down and 10.
It's a 2-game season for the Trojans. UCLA today and Notre Dame next Saturday. Hicks again got 2.5, brought down by number 55.
You know, there was an article earlier this year that says Robinson 2-10 season would be successful if it's the right 2 wins. You know, UCLA is one of them, and you know Notre Dame is the other one. And to be 17 points up, to be so close, and then to have the whole thing come unraveled, it's got to be awfully frustrating for John Robinson.
John, 3rd and 7 right now. Critical juncture for the Bruins on the out pattern, incomplete.
Oh boy,
in comes Bjorn Merton to attempt a game-tying field goal. It's pretty simple, folks. If he makes it, we play another overtime period. If he doesn't, the USC Trojans have their first win against the Bruins in 6 attempts. That's how you break it down. Today, Merton has made one from 46, missed one from 52, and this one is coming from 40.
And USC uses their timeout to try and put a little pressure on Merton. We'll see if it pays off.
Bob Toledo, nobody ever said it would be easy being a coach. We'll be right back. The Chevrolet MVPs of the game, R.J. Soward of USC, Cade McNown of UCLA. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. Bjorn Merton, folks, from 40 yards out. He's already 1 of 1 today. This is to tie. And then we'd go to another overtime. If he misses, USC goes home with a win. And let's play another one.
A 40-yard field goal by Bjorn Merton.
Boy, John Robinson, what do you have to do to beat these guys? We'll be right back. One of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California, has been providing these beautiful aerial pictures. 96 marks the 71st consecutive year that Goodyear Blimp has flown over a major sporting event. John, a look at the 2 respective kickers, Merton on the right, Abrams on the left. It might come down to them. Dean Blevins, what's up downstairs?
Well, guys, McElroy has cramps. He got cramps in his leg on that out route when he was open. He was wide open. They could have kept that drive going on the overthrow by McNown. On the other side, Otten, of course, is out. It's inconclusive how serious the rib injuries are and how, if he could come back and play on the last play of the game, or excuse me, the last game of the season. UCLA likes his chances, though, with Otten out and a better field goal kicker.
All right, Dean. 2 tights, 2 wide. Skip Hicks up the middle. Has a first down. Hey, he wants a touchdown. And you know what? He got it.
Oh.
Somewhere back in Wichita Falls, Texas, Charles Hicks, the proud father of Skip, is loving this game. Morton with the extra point, and the Bruins lead by 7.
Well, again, Skip Hicks takes the ball right up the middle, and this is a quiet or tired defense right now by USC. Hicks tied this football game with a run up the middle. Very similar play right here. And he gets in the end zone. You saw thought he was hurt or thought he was at least tackled on that play. He runs right over to Bob Toledo. Toledo gives him a hug like he's never hugged him before.
Skip Hicks, who twice has battled back from knee surgery to play football with an outstanding run, increasing his school single-season record. 20 carries today, 114 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Time for USC to go to work. DeLon Washington brought down at the 18-yard line. He picks up 7. It'll be second down, about 3 to go. The Trojans have to score a touchdown to tie it up. If they score anything less, or if they're picked off, or if they fumble and lose possession, it's over.
And time is not a factor here. I mean, the clock is turned off. They just get their full complement of downs to move the chains and get the football into the end zone. They know the task ahead of them. They just have to execute at this point.
Koffler ran into his own lineman and is brought down right near the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and about 3 to go. The tackle made by number 97, Phillip Ward. Decision time now for Mike Riley and John Robinson. And this, at 48-41, is the Bruins' first lead of the ball game. Koffler gained 1 yard. It's third down and 3. R.J. Soward, number 18, split to the top of your screen. You see him at the 21-yard line.
Oh, looked like the Bruins were going to blitz. Boy, oh boy, you got single coverage with Soward. That's a situation where you can try and get the football to your money man.
We'll be right back.
You may be watching the most exciting game in the Pac-10 today, but here's a very important game in the Pac-10. Arizona State, Arizona. Terry Battle goes 22 yards as the Sun Devils want to stay unbeaten headed to the Rose Bowl against Ohio State, who lost today. Back to you, Mark.
Well, the Trojan curse continues against UCLA. Soward in motion, third down and 3. They go to Soward.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's incomplete. He's mortal. He's mortal after all.
A classic case of running without catching the football. He had some room on a pick pattern. Soward comes across in motion, works off the backs of his other receivers, working downfield. And there he is. That ball's there. It's catchable. He just takes his eye off it because he's thinking end zone. And now it's do or die for USC. Fourth down, and the game is on the line right here.
This is the ball game. 4th and 3. They've got to get to the 15-yard line. Miller split to the top of your screen. That's Soward in motion. Koffler to pass. He throws it up. The Bruins win it. That's 6 straight. Anthony Cobbs with a pick. UCLA trailed by 17 in the fourth quarter. They came back to win it. A classic again. For Dean Blevins and John Spagnola, I'm Mark Jones. What a classic. We'll be back.